Chapter 9:34. Tushan, on top of the mountain peak. There was a woman standing there. She was tall and slender, wearing tight green armor. Her facial features were beautiful, but when she raised her eyebrows, she had a valiant aura. Her hair was tied into a high ponytail, giving her a refreshing feeling. She was like a female general on the battlefield. However, the furry fox ears on her head and the foxtail behind her but exposed her identity as a Tushan fox. Tushan fourth princess, Tushan Wanwan, a woman with a neat personality who advocated martial arts. Among the 5 beauties of Tushan, she was often said to be a tomboy by the other sisters. But that wasn't the case. Tushan Wanwan's body was perfect and curvy. She had the charm of a woman. However, her personality was straightforward, giving her a heroic and charming feeling. The Aries Academy is open. I should meet some interesting people. But Big Sister and the others are so focused on preparing for the marriage that they didn't even participate in such a grand event. I won't rely on men to cultivate. The man I like in the future should at least be a man who can get the title of God of War. Tushan Wanwan's eyes were filled with yearning. The title of God of War in the Aries Academy was the greatest reward for the younger generation. Although Tushan Wanwan was from a monarch family, she also knew that it would be difficult for her to get the title of God of War. All right, third sister said before that her red string of marriage was once tied to the son of God of the June family in the immortal region. It's a bit ridiculous. Tushan Wanwan shook her head. How could they be together with a cultivator from the immortal region? Forget it. Let's go to the Aries Academy first. Little Black, prepare the horse. Tushan Wanwan shouted. As the fourth princess of Tushan, she didn't like to ride palanquins. Instead, she liked to ride the sky feather horse. Yes, your highness. On the side, a handsome young man with slightly dark skin cupped his hands respectfully. When he looked at Tushan Wanwan, there was a trace of hidden infatuation in his eyes. His name was Yun Xiaohe. He was the most humble black fox in the Tushan fox family. He had no parents since he was young and was a wandering child beggar. It was Tushan Wanwan. She pitied him when she passed by, so she picked him up and made him the coachman of the heavenly feather horse. Therefore, Yun Xiaohe was very grateful to Tushan Wanwan. In addition, Tushan Wanwan herself was an extremely beautiful woman. Yun Xiaohe naturally developed feelings of admiration for Tushan Wanwan. Of course, Yun Xiaohe was also very self-aware. He was nothing but a homeless beggar picked up by Tushan Wanwan, and now he was only a coachman. In addition, he had a lowly black fox bloodline. Compared to Tushan Wanwan's status, there was a huge difference. As long as he could stay by Tushan Wanwan's side as a groom and see her every day, Yun Xiaohe would be satisfied. Yun Xiaohe went to the horse seller. Right at this moment, Yun Xiaohe suddenly felt a sharp pain in his mind, as if he was being pricked by needles. He clutched his head. In the consciousness of the underworld, it was as if there was a pair of fox eyes full of destructive, demonic intent staring at him. Come back quickly. This voice penetrated his ears like a demon's voice and was transmitted into Yun Xiaohe's mind. He felt that there seemed to be something wrong with his body. There was a burning feeling in his abdomen. He hurriedly lifted his shirt. He suddenly found that a black 6-pointed star mark was branded on his abdomen dantian. What the hell is this? Yun Xiaohe was extremely shocked. Previously, he had a birthmark on his abdomen that looked like a star. But now, this birthmark had turned into a black 6-pointed star mark. Yun Xiaohe had no idea what this meant. After all, some time ago, when the black 6-pointed star lit up the sky, only some big shots perceived it and thought that the legendary 6 kings of destruction would appear in the world. It was difficult for a small character like Yun Xiaohe to detect it. It's really strange. Forget it. Let's hurry up and lead the horse for the princess. We can't let her wait too long. Yun Xiaohe shook his head and directly went to lead the horse. At about the same time, one of the 10 great provinces of the foreign world, the Demon Abyss Province, in an ancient forbidden land, in the heavenly barrier blood abyss. Countless blood and bones were deposited here. Floating corpses that had been dead for countless years drifted in the sea of blood. This was a sea of blood in the abyss, and it was also a forbidden land that no one dared to enter. It was rumored that this sea of blood, even if a supreme being was tainted, would be corroded and turned into white bones. And at this moment, in the sea of blood, suddenly, a stone coffin appeared. This was a little inconceivable. The stone coffin was clearly incomparably heavy, but it could float in the sea of blood. On the stone coffin, there were ancient six-pointed star patterns. Those originally silent patterns suddenly bloomed with a bewitching blood light. It flickered as if it was breathing. Immediately, the coffin lid opened. Monstrous chi and blood surged, and pressure overturned all directions. That feeling was as if the gates of hell had been opened. Amidst the hazy blood energy, a delicate and charming figure vaguely appeared. At the incomparably tender and supple snow-white area, there was a black six-pointed star imprint, setting off her delicate snow-white skin, exceptionally striking. I sense the aura of the first king. It seems like he's already awakened. I really want to see him quickly. There's also the aura of the fifth king. It seems like in this era, there really is a chance of opening up the path to the unspeakable lands, obtaining the forbidden inheritance. This woman muttered, her voice sweet and charming to the bone, making one's heart go numb. The legends of Doomsday, the world-destroying six kings. Originally, many people only treated this as a story. Now, it seemed like in this great era, the legends might become true. At that time, it would be a heaven-shocking disaster for immortal domain. War God Academy's war bell sounded for a total of 7 days and 7 nights, spreading to every corner of the foreign world's 10 great provinces. A few ambitious heavenly prides all prepare to go on their way. Of course, not all creatures would immediately head out. For example, the imperial prince who is still sleeping, or the peerless monsters who are still in seclusion. But no matter what, War God Academy was still the gathering place of the foreign world's heavenly prides. On the Ice Spirit royal family's side, many powerhouses secretly cast their gazes towards this place. A chaotic physique affected many people's minds. After all, it was a rare, chaotic physique. Many people believed that the appearance of the chaotic physique could even break the current situation of the foreign world's 10 heavenly kings and even the 7 minor emperors. It shouldn't be too much of a problem for the chaotic physique to deal with the 10 heavenly kings, but the 7 minor emperors are different. Those are the true, young, supreme beings. That's not necessarily true. You've also seen the chaotic physique's battle prowess. Killing a quasi-supreme like Wu Kuan is almost effortless. Then let's wait and see. If this chaotic physique really goes to War God Academy, he will definitely fight with the Infernal Clan's Li Jioi. That's right, that's a powerful existence in the top 3 of the 10 heavenly kings' battle prowess. Other than the 7 minor emperors whose cultivation realm is slightly weaker, they're not much weaker in other aspects. It really makes one look forward to it. Many powerhouses were communicating with their divine wills. And just after 7 days of bell ringing, in the ancient city of the Ice Spirit royal family, 3 figures turned into divine rainbows and stepped into the air. It was Jun Xiaoyao, Chun Chun, and Fei Qingxue. The chaotic physique has set off. Many people were secretly shocked. It seemed that there would be a good show in War God Academy. A chaotic physique was enough to stir up endless storms. Chapter 9:35. When he heard the bell of Ares Academy, Jun Xiaoyao was ready to go. After all, he hadn't joined any monarch race yet. If he wanted to find out more information, he could only go to Ares Academy. Not to mention, Ares Academy had all kinds of resources. With his chaos physique, those old guys from Ares Academy would probably stuff all kinds of resources on him. Ares Academy wasn't located in the Heavenly Tomb State. Among the 10 states of the foreign realm, the Heavenly Tomb State wasn't considered a core state. It was considered a relatively remote place. Ares Academy was located in the Styx River state of the 10 states. In this state, there was a Styx River that ran through the entire 10 states of the foreign realm. In the end, it flowed to the unspeakable land in the depths of the 10 states. Between the 10 states, there were all kinds of natural moats, dangerous lands, and ancient forbidden lands that formed natural barriers. However, there were cross-state teleportation portals between different states, so it wasn't too troublesome. It only took half a month. Jun Xiaoyao, Chun Chun, and Fei Qingxue came to the Styx River State. The race in charge of the cross-state teleportation portal didn't even dare to charge when they saw that it was Jun Xiaoyao. After all, the reputation of the chaos physique had already spread in the heavenly tomb state. The creatures of other states had also heard of it. However, Jun Xiaoyao still made Fei Qingxue pay the fee. This nether river is boundless. The vast and boundless Styx River spanned thousands of feet. Black river water surged within, bringing with it an aura of extreme, as well as a dense aura of darkness. There was a lot of dark matter in the river. Jun Xiaoyao landed in front of the Styx River and directly reached out to scoop up a handful of water. Sir, Fei Qingxue and Chuanchuan's expressions changed slightly. The water of the Styx River wasn't simple. It was the river water that flowed to the unspeakable land. It could easily freeze and crack one's body and destroy one's primordial spirit. Even the creatures of the foreign realm didn't dare to approach it, let alone touch it. However, Jun Xiaoyao easily scooped up the Styx River water. A chill that reached deep into one's heart surged. However, in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, the lunar saint power circulated and dissolved the chill. But at the same time, there was another dark substance that was corroding it. In the innerverse, the black blood of the heavens absorbed it without leaving a trace. Styx, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. During this period of time on the other side, he also learned about some things. For example, outside of the 10 great provinces of the other side, there is also the most mysterious forbidden land, the Avicania lands. Unspeakable Lands was located in the deepest part of the foreign world's 10 great provinces. That place was one where not even the foreign creatures dared to casually approach. The dark matter within it was too dense. There were also all sorts of strange things. The immortal realm had the so-called 7 inconceivable forbidden legends. If the other side also had one, then Unspeakable Lands could definitely be included. Moreover, one of the most mysterious and strange, inconceivable places. It seems that the origin of the foreign dark matter is related to the unspeakable lands. This dark matter is what makes the foreign creatures so powerful, but it's not a good medicine. If one completely falls into it, even their rationality will be completely devoured, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Underworld River, from a certain perspective, could be considered the mother river of the other side. It made the other side powerful, but it also had side effects. Could father also be interested in unspeakable lands? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly thought of his father, Jun Wuhui. He was one of the 3 pure ones, and after the battle with Scarlet Owl King, he disappeared. No one knew his whereabouts. Jun Xiaoyao thought about it. If he was Jun Wuhui, what part of the other side could attract him? There should only be unspeakable lands. However, Jun Xiaoyao still had doubts. Why didn't Jun Wei enter earlier or later, instead choosing this time to disappear in the other side? Could it be that his father sensed that there might be great changes in unspeakable lands in the future? Jun Xiaoyao was very puzzled. Right now, there were still too few clues, temporarily unable to sort out a complete sequence of events. However, he already had an idea in his mind. If possible, he wanted to go to unspeakable lands. Of course, this still depended on the follow-up plan. After all, even if it was a foreign creature, it was impossible for them to casually go to unspeakable lands. One needed a certain amount of qualifications to approach. As expected of Sir, seeing Jun Xiaoyao touch the water of the underworld river so easily, Fei Qingxue's beautiful eyes were only filled with admiration. Not bad, Chun Chun snorted, but her beautiful eyes were also sparkling. Next, Jun Xiaoyao brought the 2 girls to the Ares Academy as if they were on a scenic tour. They were not in a hurry. The Ares Academy was located in the central region of the underworld river continent. It was an incomparably auspicious and immortal land. It was rumored that it was also the place where the dragon vein of the other side was located. It was precisely this kind of heavenly paradise that allowed the Academy to be located here and nurture peerless geniuses. As far as the eye could see, the Ares Academy occupied thousands of hectares. There were mountain ranges, plains, and heavenly palaces floating in the void. A waterfall formed by the condensation of spiritual liquids fell from the sky. Immortal flowers spat out red clouds. Auspicious grass competed for brilliance. Clouds rose, and a myriad of scenes. It could be said that even some of the more knowledgeable quasi-emperor clans, and even emperor clan prodigies' eyes would light up when they came here, and they would secretly praise in their hearts. The ancient mountain gate was as majestic as a mountain, at least 10,000 feet tall. The 4 words Ares Academy were written on it, releasing a resplendent brilliance. A bronze bell hung in front of the mountain gate. It was the emperor weapon that had let out the sound of the bell, the war bell. To place an emperor weapon in front of the mountain gate as a bell, one could see how deep the Ares Academy's foundation was. At this moment, prodigies from all over the foreign territory gathered in front of the mountain gate. Although it could not be said that all the prodigies were here, but most of them still rushed over immediately. The Ares Academy's recruitment process also had a series of procedures. Not just any Tom, Dick, or Harry could be recruited. The huge Ares Academy was divided into an inner and outer courtyard. There were only 9,999 seats in the outer courtyard. There were even fewer in the inner courtyard, only 999 seats. In total, there were more than 10,000 people. Don't think that it looked like a lot. But one had to know that the total number of young people in the foreign territory's 10 great states was more than hundreds of millions. Even if the slave race and general race were excluded, the number of prodigies from the royal race and above added up was also a shocking number. Furthermore, the Ares Academy adopted a last-place elimination system. Those who were weak and at the bottom would be eliminated, and even stronger prodigies would be recruited. This was also the cruel survival of the weak in the foreign territory to the extreme. At this moment, in front of the mountain gate, countless young prodigies gathered together, almost covering the sky. Those who had the qualifications to participate in the Ares Academy's test were at least of the royal race and above. As for the general race, unless a true elite dark horse appeared, it would be difficult for them to enter the academy. As for the slave race, they didn't even have the qualifications to come to the mountain gate. Have you guys heard that the Ares Academy seems to have 10 quasi-war god seats this time? I heard that too. Those are quasi-war gods. They will receive endless resources from the Ares Academy and will be nurtured as the core of the academy. Everyone knew that the purpose of the Ares Academy's existence was to nurture the foreign territory's pillars, and only the young sovereigns who could receive the title of Ares Academy could be considered pillars, and quasi-war gods were a type of prestige in themselves. They were only one step away from becoming a true titled war god. One could imagine how high the value of a quasi-war god was. Sigh, but I heard a rumor. This time, the Ares Academy seems to have decided on a quasi-war god. I heard that too. It seems that a chaos body appeared in the great state of Heaven Tomb. TSK, that's the unparalleled chaos body. How long has it been since someone with the chaos body appeared in our world? No wonder the Ares Academy chose him. But to get the quasi-war god title right off the bat, isn't that a bit inappropriate? After all, the 10 heavenly kings haven't been given the title yet, let alone the 7 minor emperors. That's true. The chaos body's talent is definitely unparalleled, but his experience doesn't seem to be enough. His only battle record was that he defeated everyone at the heavenly immortal banquet in the great state of Heaven Tomb. Just as the living beings in the surroundings were discussing amongst themselves, suddenly, a cold snort was heard. Without going through the test, who has the qualifications to get the quasi-war god title for free? Hearing this cold snort, the prodigies all looked over. Their eyes were instantly filled with shock. It was a tall male. Behind him, the silhouette of an ancient tree appeared. There were also snowflakes revolving around him. Those weren't real snowflakes, but demonic cattail seeds. This male was one of the 10 heavenly kings who was defeated by Jun Xiaoyao in the world of God, Pu Yao. Chapter 9:36. Pu Yao was one of the 10 heavenly kings. His ranking wasn't high, and his combat power couldn't be compared to Li Jioi. The reason why he could be one of the 10 heavenly kings was because he had the special method of the cat-tailed demon clan, the cat-tailed demon seed. He could control his opponents and turn them into puppets. His methods were strange and unpredictable. At this moment, Pu Yao's arrival silenced all the prodigies. He came from the cat-tailed demon emperor clan and was one of the 10 heavenly kings. Pu Yao's prestige was still very high. Hearing the discussions around him, Pu Yao was a bit unhappy. Previously, he was defeated by Jun Xiaoyao in the Ruins of God, and even his Dao heart was damaged. It was only after Jun Xiaoyao perished that he regained his composure. Now, he had come to the Ares Academy to further improve himself. After all, Jun Xiaoyao let him know what it meant by there was always someone better than you. So what if he was one of the 10 heavenly kings? So what if he was a prodigy of the cat-tailed demon emperor clan? He was still defeated like a dog. So what if he has the chaotic body? No one can snatch the quasi-war god status from me. Pu Yao snorted coldly in his heart. There were only 10 quasi-war god seats, and they were very precious. And it wasn't guaranteed. Even if he got the quasi-war god status, if he was defeated by others, he could only give up the quasi-war god status. However, the advantage of getting it in advance was that he could enjoy the various resources of Ares Academy in advance. This was something that couldn't be bought even with the immortal origin. Especially in Ares Academy, some old antiques with extremely high cultivation and seniority were preaching. Only quasi-war gods were qualified to listen to some of them and receive pointers. This was also why Pu Yao wanted the quasi-war god status so much. Now, that chaotic body could get the quasi-war god seat for free. Pu Yao was naturally unhappy. Pu Yao, it seems that you don't want that chaotic body to get the quasi-war god status for free. At this moment, a voice sounded again. A figure came from the horizon. His entire body was covered in a black robe, and his pale-looking hand was holding a rotten wooden staff. There was a lantern-like thing on it, and there were all kinds of strange poisonous insects flying inside. It's the prodigy of the Gu clan, Gu Yi. There was another wave of commotion. The prodigy of the Gu clan, Gu Yi, was also one of the 10 heavenly kings. Looks like we have the same goal. Another voice sounded. This was a male wearing resplendent golden armor. Even his hair was a faint golden color, releasing endless radiance. Golden Armor Clan, Jin Zhan, another heavenly king-level character, had appeared, including the two of us. Another voice rang out. It came from a figure with 2 heads and a sturdy figure, like a 2-headed cannibal mage. That was the prodigy of the 2-headed god race, who was also one of the 10 heavenly kings. Many of the foreign geniuses present exclaimed in surprise. He did not expect to see several of the 10 heavenly kings appear in such a short time. Moreover, they seemed to be dissatisfied with the fact that the body of chaos had been selected as a quasi-war god. The quasi-war god slot should be fought for by oneself and not by the charity of the Ares Academy, Jin Zhan said in an indifferent tone. His pupils and hair were light gold, and he looked extraordinarily handsome, like the son of the sun. This race was born with golden armor, and their physical defense was unparalleled. Jin Zhan also had the title of a movable wisdom king. It was very difficult to completely injure him. Hearing Jin Zhan's words, the surrounding prodigies did not dare to say anything on the surface, but they were all complaining in their hearts, saying that the quasi-war god slot should be fought for by oneself. However, if the Ares Academy had given the slot to them, these heavenly kings would definitely accept it happily. To put it bluntly, it was just jealousy in his heart. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't Li Jioi still have a battle with the body of chaos? If he can't beat Li Jioi, how can he still have the face to get the quasi-war god slot? The prodigy of the Gu clan, Gu Yi, said in a hoarse and cold voice. TSK, you make being jealous sound so dignified. You guys are really something. Just then, a crisp voice rang out. In the distant sky, a beautiful figure was riding on a heavenly feather horse, flying over. Behind her, there was a horse carrying a dark-skinned youth following behind her. It was Tushan Wanwan and Yun Xiaohe, who had rushed to the Ares Academy. Seeing Tushan Wanwan's arrival, the eyes of all the prodigies present lit up. The Tushan five beauties were famous for their beauty. The quintuplet beauties each had their own charm, their own differences, and their own personalities. Some were extremely charming, some were demure and elegant, some were valiant, and some were cute and innocent, like Ling Long. It could be said that the Tushan five beauties were the dream lovers of most young men in the foreign lands. Being able to get one of them was already a blessing of 3 lifetimes. I heard that the marriage banquet for the Tushan five princesses is also about to be decided. When the time comes, we must attend. You can only watch the show. Do you really think that you have the qualifications to marry one of them? Hee, of course I'm just watching the show. However, do you think that there will be a big shot who will marry all 5 of them at once? I think you're dreaming. How is that possible? Even if it's a sleeping prince or a descendant of an ancient hidden monarch clan, they don't have the qualifications, right? Following Tushan Wanwan's arrival, many discussions broke out. Tushan Wanwan sat on the heavenly feather horse. The green armor on her body accentuated her slim and curvy body. Her exquisite facial features were also incomparably beautiful. Although she was called a tomboy by the other sisters, her appearance wasn't any weaker than the other sisters. Her single ponytail was raised high, clean, and neat. Right now, as she looked around, there was a valiant and heroic aura. So if it's the 4th princess. Pu Yao nodded. Jin Zhan's expression wasn't too good. Tushan Wanwan's words were obviously mocking them. If it was anyone else, Jin Zhan would have already taught them a lesson. However, Jin Zhan didn't dare to offend the Tushan 4th princess. 4th princess, you're wrong. That chaotic body has just appeared and doesn't have much experience. Letting him become a quasi-war god might not be a good thing for him. Jin Zhan said calmly. Then you have the experience? Tushan Wanwan tilted her head and said. Jin Zhan's mouth twitched. The corners of his eyes also twitched. This Tushan 4th princess had a straightforward personality. Her words were also straightforward, not giving others any face. Right at this moment, a faint laugh suddenly sounded. Only those without strength talk about experience. Those with strength can ignore everything. This voice was as gentle as jade, but it seemed to ring in everyone's ears. Many people were surprised and looked toward the voice. Tushan Wanwan's beautiful eyes also brightened. She liked this kind of straightforward and domineering speech. In the distant sky, a hazy figure in white slowly flew over. Mysterious space Tao patterns flowed under his feet. A moment ago, he was still in the sky, but the next moment, he was already in front of the mountain gate. His white clothes were hazy, and his body was tall and straight. His face seemed to be shrouded in a faint, chaotic mist, but one could still see a corner of it. This is the chaotic body that appeared in the heavenly tomb state. The tens of thousands of sky prides at the scene were all dumbfounded. This was too extraordinary. It was as if a true immortal had descended and walked in the mortal world. Chapter 9:37. Previously, the news of the chaotic physique had already spread like wildfire in the foreign lands. Many people were curious about the chaotic body that had just appeared in the world. Now that the crowd had seen it, their eyes were filled with amazement. Divine appearance, jade-like bones, handsome and meaningful. He looked like a handsome young master in a chaotic world. However, the strands of primal chaos chi that coiled around his body clearly indicated that the true strength of this celestial-like man was not as gentle and refined as his temperament. Chaotic physique, Jin Zhan, Guqi, and the 2-headed god race prodigy all had a serious look in their eyes. From the beginning to the end, they had never underestimated the chaotic physique. They were just a little unconvinced that Jun Xiaoyao could become a quasi-god of war. On the other hand, Pu Yao was also a little wary of the chaotic physique. However, what puzzled him was that when he looked at the chaotic physique, he had a strange sense of familiarity in his heart. He felt like he had seen it somewhere before. Of course, Pu Yao shook his head inwardly and thought that it was just an illusion. It was impossible for him to have seen the chaotic physique before. Is this the chaotic physique? However, The brilliance in Tushan Wanwan's beautiful eyes was a little dazzling. A gentle and graceful woman was a gentleman's mate. The reverse was also true. Tushan Wanwan's character was not a love-struck fool. However, Jun Xiaoyao's temperament also stunned her. Behind him, Chunshun and Fei Qingxue also followed closely. When she saw Chunshun, Tushan Wanwan's crystal-clear eyes widened slightly. "Fifth sister, why are you here?" His words caused everyone to be astonished. Chunshun's little eyes were a little evasive as she pursed her red lips. She did not expect to meet Tushan Wanwan here. She stopped pretending and directly laid her cards on the table. The smoke surged and her body shook, revealing her true form. It was a teenage girl in pink clothes. Her long white hair was soft and smooth, and her palm-sized face was delicate and charming. She had a jade-like nose, big eyes, and long eyelashes. Her bare feet were whiter than snow, and a red string was tied around her slender ankle. She looked like a porcelain doll carved out of jade. Of course, she was different from what Jun Xiaoyao had seen before. Two furry fox ears popped out of Chunshun's head. Behind his buttocks, there were also 9 furry foxtails. She turned into a little lowly with beast ears. This was Chunshun's true colors. No, she should be called Tushan Chunshun. Is that the 5th princess of Tushan? The 5th princess of Tushan has been following the chaos body. What's going on? All the living beings in the surroundings were incomparably stunned. She didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao's little attendant was the 5th princess of Tushan. Fei Qingxue was also surprised. She didn't expect that the little girl who usually fought with her for favor had such a powerful background. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. Sir, why aren't you surprised at all?" Tushan Chunshun tilted her head, blinked, and looked at Jun Xiaoyao. "Do you think I can't see through your foxtail?" Jun Xiaoyao grabbed the foxtail behind Tushan Chunshun's little butt and pulled it. "Ah, sir." Tushan Chunshun's delicate little face immediately turned red. Tushan Wanwan's expression was a little strange when she saw this scene. The tail of the Tushan Fox clan was a private part. Only the people closest to them could touch it. Did 5th sister really find her Mr. Right? Tushan Wanwan thought to herself. Tushan Chunshun wanted to find her true love because she resisted the betrothal contest, so she secretly left Tushan. They didn't look for her because the treasures on Tushan Chunshun's body were enough to protect her. This interlude caused many people to be stunned. Countless jealous gazes fell on Jun Xiaoyao. The 5th princess of Tushan was the youngest. She was eccentric and cute. Now that she was following Jun Xiaoyao, it was natural that she made people jealous. At this moment, a white-haired old man with a ruddy complexion stepped on the void and came from the mountain gate. The old man was wearing a plain white robe and didn't have any special aura. He looked like an old farmer. However, when some of the more knowledgeable geniuses saw this old man, they were all surprised and hurriedly bowed. "Greetings, Elder Mu." This old man was an elder of the inner court who had quite a bit of seniority. Even though he did not have any terrifying suppressive aura, he was a genuine mystique venerable. "Greetings, Elder Mu." Even Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, Gu Qi, and the Gemini divine tribe prodigies also bowed respectfully. Although they were all from boundary emperor tribes and emperor tribes, there was no lack of mystique venerables. However, Elder Mu was very senior in the inner yard. If they offended him, it would be difficult for them to survive in the Ares Academy. However, what made Pu Yao and the others speechless was that Elder Mu nodded slightly. His expression was indifferent as he ignored them. Then, he came to Jun Xiaoyao's side. His expression immediately became amiable, just like a benevolent old man. The more he looked at Jun Xiaoyao, the more satisfied he was. Is this the chaotic body? It's the real deal. Elder Mu clicked his tongue. When Pu Yao and the others heard this, their expressions turned ugly. On the other hand, Tushan Xiaoxiao's beautiful eyes sparkled. This was the first time this mysterious chaotic body came, and Elder Mu had personally appeared. "Elder, you flatter me. I only took advantage of the physique." Jun Xiaoyao bowed slightly. He was neither servile nor overbearing. He knew that his primal chaos physique and the true primal chaos physique were not the same concept, but they had almost identical abilities. Therefore, he wasn't afraid that the other powerhouses would notice. Haha, you could go directly to the inner yard. You don't have to go through any checkpoints. Eldamu waved his hand and smiled. It was as if he was talking to his own grandson. It was indescribably intimate. Pu Yao and the other heavenly king-tier prodigies stood at the side. They were extremely embarrassed, and their faces were slightly green. Their backgrounds and talents weren't bad. Wasn't this too much of a discrimination? Isn't this a little inappropriate? Jun Xiaoyao asked hesitantly. He still had to act as if he had to. You're too polite. Don't talk about entering the inner yard. I've already decided that you'll be the quasi-god of war. In the future, you'll have the greatest authority to allocate resources. Elder Mu chuckled. Jun Xiaoyao laughed in his heart, but on the surface, he pretended to be surprised. I'm flattered. Don't mention it. You deserve it. Old Master Mu was satisfied. Temperament, talents, and abilities. There was nothing to say. As for background and history, to the Ares Academy, as long as they were from the foreign lands, had talents, and were willing to contribute to the foreign lands, they would be able to enter the academy. Elder Mu, may I ask a question? Although the chaotic body is heaven-defying, isn't it a little inappropriate to get the quasi-god of war status just like that? Pu Yao and the other prodigies said. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Pu Yao and smiled coldly. He didn't expect to meet this person who he had defeated in the ruins of God. If he had the chance, he would directly eliminate him. Elder Mu's face darkened when he heard this. His tone was cold. If you think it's unfair, then go and complain to the unparalleled ancients of the academy. Elder Mu's words shocked all the prodigies present. Their hearts skipped a beat. Pu Yao and the other heavenly king prodigies felt as if their hearts had stopped. Their faces turned green. The ancient supremes of the Ares Academy were the oldest group of people in the Ares Academy. They were the strongest experts of the Ares Academy, the pillars of the academy, the guardians. Even the weakest, unparalleled ancients were Tao sovereigns. And they weren't lacking in quasi-immortal and true immortal. This caused Pu Yao's face to turn green, then purple, and finally pale. If he offended the unparalleled ancients, then he could forget about entering the Ares Academy. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with surprise. He didn't have any karma with the Ares Academy. The unparalleled ancients of the Ares Academy had taken a liking to him. Chapter 9:38. Elder Mu's words almost shut the mouths of all the prodigies present. Even if they were dissatisfied with Jun Xiaoyao obtaining the status of a quasi-war god for no reason, they did not dare to show it. After all, it was the ancient supreme existence of the academy who had taken a fancy to him. The others could not say anything. Even Pu Yao and the others kept their mouths shut tactfully, although their expressions were still very unpleasant. Young friend, follow me to the inner court, Elder Mu said amiably. At this moment, a voice sounded and interrupted Jun Xiaoyao's reply. Elder Mu, I would like to meet this new quasi-war god of the Ares Academy. How capable is he? As the voice fell, a handsome young man dressed in black and gold walked over with his hands behind his back. An old servant followed behind him. Li Jiufeng. Li Jiufeng's arrival stirred up a commotion. This was the young master of the infernal imperial family. The true young master of an imperial family. As for Pu Yao, although he was also a member of the Cat-tailed Demon clan, but in comparison, his status was not as high as Li Jiufeng's. At this moment, Li Jiufeng's arrival had undoubtedly stirred up a fiery atmosphere. After all, Li Jiufeng and Jun Xiaoyao had a conflict before. Jun Xiaoyao had killed Li Jiufeng's concubine. Li Jiufeng had even said that he wanted to fight Jun Xiaoyao in the Ares Academy. Now, the two of them finally met. Unlike what he had imagined, the atmosphere did not smell like gunpowder. Li Jiufeng did not even show any obvious anger. But it was that calm appearance that made the undercurrent even more turbulent. Jun Xiaoyao took a look at Li Jioi and nodded slightly to himself. After all, he was the young master of an imperial family. He still had to behave. At least he would not be embarrassed into anger because of a concubine. Of course, this grudge had been formed. Jun Xiaoyao was not afraid. Seeing this, Elder Mu's eyes showed a trace of displeasure, but he could not say anything. After all, Li Jiufeng's words were still considered appropriate and not too extreme. Truth be told, Elder Mu himself only treated Jun Xiaoyao with such an attitude because of the words of the ancient beings of the inner yard. He was also very curious about Jun Xiaoyao's true strength. Come on then. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeve. It was time to show his might. That would save him the trouble of provoking any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Today was a good day for him to establish his reputation in front of tens of thousands of geniuses. Jun Xiaoyao's words immediately caused an uproar among the audience. Other than wanting to join the Aries Academy, these geniuses had come here for other reasons. Another reason was that he wanted to see the battle between Jun Xiaoyao and Li Jioi. After all, one of them was the Infernal Imperial Clan's young master, who possessed the ancestral returning eyes. One of them had an unparalleled primal chaos physique. The battle between the two was indeed very eye-catching. How interesting! Tushan Wanwan's beautiful face also showed a touch of excitement. She was a little violent and believed in the supremacy of force, so she was most interested in this kind of confrontation. Awesome! Li Jiuming's lips also curled into a cold smile. It was not a bad idea to use the primal chaos physique as his whetstone. However, Jun Xiaoyao changed the topic and said, I think you've misunderstood. What do you mean? Li Jiuming frowned slightly. I'm not talking about you alone. The 10 heavenly king-level geniuses are all qualified to fight together. His words were like a clap of thunder. Everyone was stunned. Their pupils constricted, and their minds were a little dizzy. Jun Xiaoyao alone was challenging all 10 heavenly king-level geniuses present. One should know that there were 5 heavenly king-level geniuses present: Li Jiuming, Pu Yao, Jin Zhan, Gu Qi, and the Gemini Divine Tribe. Half of the 10 heavenly king-level geniuses were present. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to challenge 5 heavenly king-level geniuses alone. Many people also noticed Jun Xiaoyao's choice of words. The 10 heavenly king-level geniuses were all qualified to fight him. In other words, the geniuses below the 10 heavenly king-level geniuses were not even qualified to fight Jun Xiaoyao. That was what made Jun Xiaoyao so frightening to everyone. He was too arrogant. Haha, as expected of the primal chaos physique. Elder Mu laughed, becoming more and more interested. Interesting, really interesting. Tushan Wanwan's beautiful eyes were even brighter. She, who had a martial spirit, liked this kind of domineering speech the most. Compared to the uproar in the audience, Li Jiuming's face darkened slightly. Pu Yao and the others looked as if they had eaten **T. Who were they? The 10 heavenly king-level geniuses of the younger generation. But now, it felt like they were being used as a unit of measurement. Those who were not heavenly king-level geniuses were not qualified to fight Jun Xiaoyao. When had they ever suffered such humiliation? Primal chaos physique, aren't you a little too arrogant? Are you looking down on me? Li Jiuming frowned. I'm just telling the truth, Jun Xiaoyao said. Haha, what an arrogant person. Li Jiuming, don't make a move first. Let me deal with this arrogant guy. Jin Zhan of the Golden Armor Clan was so angry that he laughed. His pale golden pupils emitted a threatening cold light, and his pale golden hair danced in the wind. He was really angered by Jun Xiaoyao. Boom! Without any unnecessary words, Jin Zhan directly attacked and activated the power of his physical body. The Golden Armor Clan was good at refining their bodies. The secret technique of their clan, the immovable Wisdom King, allowed their clan to stand tall in the foreign territory for a long time. The golden fist light was extremely surging, and the runes were like a sea. Following his punch, it blasted towards Jun Xiaoyao. He is indeed a quasi-supreme. The geniuses were terrified. The 10 heavenly king-level geniuses all had the combat power of a quasi-supreme. Just this simple punch of Jin Zhan's was something that not many prodigies present could withstand. More gazes were cast towards Jun Xiaoyao. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had only fought a limited number of times, and the only time was at the Heavenly Immortal Banquet. His opponent was only a servant who was 9 feet away. Although he suppressed him single-handedly, many people were not clear about Jun Xiaoyao's true strength. Facing Jin Zhan's fist, Jun Xiaoyao just extended a palm in an ordinary manner. In that instant, heaven and earth surged, chaotic energy surged. This palm actually gave off the feeling of the beginning of chaos. Bang! The collision was accompanied by a muffled groan. Jin Zhan's fist arm exploded, blood splattering everywhere. His entire body retreated explosively, a trace of shock in his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent as he took a step forward. In the next moment, he directly appeared in front of Jin Zhan. His 5 fingers clenched into a fist and directly smashed down. "Immovable Wisdom King!" Jin Zhan shouted fiercely. Only now did he understand what kind of existence he had provoked. Buzz buzz. On Jin Zhan's body, pieces of golden armor trembled, revealing all kinds of ancient and complicated runes. Jin Zhan seemed to have transformed into a golden-armored divine general with the phantom of the immovable Wisdom King behind him, as though it could suppress the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao's fist was unbiased as he punched down. Strands of chaos chi coiled around his fist like mist. A single punch smashed Jin Zhan's body, causing his flesh and bones to splatter in all directions. The golden armor on his body shattered. The phantom of the immovable Wisdom King was even destroyed by the chaos chi. Only one origin soul turned into a ray of golden light and flew into the distance. The origin soul's face was filled with unprecedented fear and terror. The entire place was dead silent. Among the 10 heavenly kings, Jin Zhan of the Golden Armor race was known for his unparalleled physique and invincible defense. His body was destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao in 2 moves. Chapter 9:39. The mountain gate of Ares Academy was originally bustling with noise and excitement, but now it was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. One of the 10 heavenly kings, Jin Zhan from the Golden Armor race, could not even block 2 moves from Jun Xiaoyao. One had to know that anyone who could become one of the 10 heavenly kings had some skills. Even the sleeping emperor's son, the 7 minor emperors, and so on could not deal with the 10 heavenly kings in just 2 or 3 moves. But now it was just 2 moves. Jun Xiaoyao did not even use any divine ability and destroyed Jin Zhan's body. That was the Golden Armor race, which was known for their physical defense. They were not some weak race that specialized in cultivating the primordial spirit. What did this mean? It meant that the chaos body's physical body was beyond everyone's imagination. The minds of all the prodigies went blank. Is this the legendary chaos body? A prodigy murmured in a daze. As the saying went, seeing is believing. Hearing others talk about how powerful the chaos body was, no one had any idea. But now, a shocking scene played out in front of everyone. As expected of the chaos body, that person's foresight is really, Elder Mu exclaimed. Ares Academy had already decided to directly bring Jun Xiaoyao into the inner court. But in fact, it was not confirmed whether to give Jun Xiaoyao the quasi-war god status. It was an ancient quasi-immortal level fighter who insisted on recommending Jun Xiaoyao, which allowed him to become a quasi-war god without anyone knowing. At first, Elder Mu was also puzzled by this decision. But now, it seemed that the quasi-immortal's foresight was indeed sharp. As for Tushan Wanwan, her beautiful eyes were even more dazzling. She rubbed her palms and could not hold back. She wanted to spar with Jun Xiaoyao. Li Jiuming frowned. Pu Yao, Gu Qi, and the 2-headed god race prodigy's expressions also became unprecedentedly solemn. How is this possible? That chaos body. Jin Zhan was only left with his primordial spirit. His expression was trembling and filled with disbelief. Don't be careless. Attack. Gu Qi from the Gu race said in a hoarse and cold voice. Jun Xiaoyao had already said that he wanted to challenge all of them. If they did not make a move, it would make people feel that the 10 heavenly kings were people who did not live up to their reputation. Gu attacked. The lantern on the rotten wooden staff in his hand flickered with brilliance. A large amount of black fog appeared. Upon closer inspection, one could see that they were all poisonous insects. Those are soul-devouring mosquitoes. Many of the surrounding sky prides were treated. A single one of these soul-devouring mosquitoes could suck the soul of a saint dry, not to mention the fact that it was surging like a black fog. The prodigy of the two-headed celestial race made his move as well. Holding a staff in his hand, billions of Abhijna radiances appeared. The two-headed celestial race was proficient in magical powers. They could summon the wind and rain. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Tao patterns appeared between heaven and earth, interweaving with terrifying killing lights. Pu Yao naturally made a move as well. Although the two moves from before had caused him to recall some unpleasant memories, Pu Yao was still able to make a move. He recalled that in the world of the ruins of God, that white-robed figure had also defeated all of them in 2 or 3 moves. Is this a heart demon? Pu Yao sighed to himself. Jun Xiaoyao had already fallen, and it was impossible for him to appear again. As for Li Jioi, he did not make a move immediately. As the young master of a monarch race, he still had to have some face. Moreover, he was one of the top 3 existences among the 10 heavenly kings. It was not appropriate for him to make a move with the others. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still calm, and he still did not use any magical powers. His body shook, and chaotic patterns interweaved. He did not need to use any magical powers. Just his chaotic physique alone could easily crush those of the same level. Otherwise, what was so powerful about the chaotic physique? This was a physique that came from the same source as the Azure Emperor. Bang! Jun Xiaoyao grabbed with one hand, and it was as if the sky had collapsed. The black fog formed by the soul-devouring mosquitoes was directly enveloped in it, and then all of them were killed. The chaotic aftermath overflowed, shaking the surroundings. The venomous insect at the front was impacted and directly retreated. Its bones cracked, and bloody wounds appeared on its body. Compared to Jin Zhan, who was proficient in body tempering, the venomous insect was even more pathetic. Heavenly lightning extreme karma. The two-headed celestial race prodigy roared. The sky changed color, and black clouds surged. Bolts of lightning gathered, and then turned into a lightning dragon that struck down. This was a top-tier technique. It was like a heavenly tribulation, punishing on behalf of the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were even more indifferent when he saw this. He had grasped the Lightning Emperor's magical powers, so any lightning laws were at his fingertips. He could use and resolve them at will. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not even need to resolve an attack of this level. Rumble. Thousands of lightning bolts drowned Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. It was as if they had turned into a lightning waterfall, washing away everything there. Even that space was about to be split open by the lightning. Success. The two-headed celestial race prodigy's face was filled with joy. However, before his smile could be completely revealed, he saw Jun Xiaoyao slowly stepping out of the lightning waterfall. It was a terrifying lightning that could instantly turn a sacred Lord-level expert into charcoal. However, it could not even break Jun Xiaoyao's white robes. The lightning danced on his body, but it could not hurt Jun Xiaoyao at all. Jun Xiaoyao took a step forward and landed in front of the two-headed celestial race prodigy. With a flick of his finger, a bolt of lightning burst out and tore through the voids. Boom! It was clearly just a bolt of lightning, but it let out an earth-shattering explosion. The two-headed celestial race prodigy let out a tragic cry as he turned into charcoal and fell to the ground, his fate unknown. Finally, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze landed on Pu Yao. He could be considered as an old acquaintance. Back in the world of the divine ruins, Jun Xiaoyao had yet to break through to quasi-supreme. At that time, even Pu Yao could not defeat him. Let alone now, the difference in their true strength was like heaven and earth. Forget it. Pu Yao wanted to say something, but Jun Xiaoyao continued to slap out casually. The palm formed by the chaos aura was so clear that even the palm lines could be seen clearly. It was like the palm of a chaos divine king that came crashing down. Boom! Pu Yao was slapped to the ground, and a 1,000-foot crater was formed around him. Dense radial cracks spread out. Then, Jun Xiaoyao stomped his foot, and chaos ripples spread out. The Guqi was also shaken until he spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and his body cracked as he retreated. 4 of the 10 heavenly kings were defeated by Jun Xiaoyao casually. There was no longer any sound in the world. In the eyes of all the paragons, the 10 heavenly kings were high and mighty. In the hands of Jun Xiaoyao, they were like clay chickens and pottery dogs that could not withstand a single blow. Li Jiui, attack. Don't give me the illusion that the 10 heavenly kings are weak. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. Although it was the truth, in the ears of everyone, it was definitely a condescending mockery. Even the 7 minor thearchs wouldn't say that. Chaotic body, you've gone overboard. Although Li Jiui said that, his expression was unprecedentedly solemn. Attack. Let me take the initiative, and you won't have the chance to attack, Jun Xiaoyao said. Seeing this, Li Jiui did not say much and directly summoned the infernal clan's bloodline ability. He raised his hand, and a crack spread in his palm and then opened. An ancient and strange evil eye emerged and was still spinning. For a time, the world changed color and the void was turbulent. When the evil eye appeared, the world was destroyed. Chapter 940. The infernal clan's evil eye was a natural, supernatural ability. The purer the bloodline, the stronger the bloodline power, and the stronger the evil eye that was born. What Li Jiui had was the atavistic eye. It meant that his bloodline power was extremely strong. If such a person did not die, he might become an immortal king in the future. So powerful. Rumor has it that the infernal evil eye that Li Jiui controls has the signs of atavism, as expected of the infernal clan's young master. As soon as the infernal evil eye was activated, the world shook and the void trembled like a piece of paper. All kinds of mysterious, strange, and powerful runes were imprinted in the sky. Those were the special runes that belonged to the infernal clan. They accompanied the evil eye and were extremely powerful, manifesting supreme, supernatural abilities. It does have the signs of immortality. Even Elder Mu nodded his head in agreement. He's really powerful. I might not be able to defeat him. Tushan Wanwan was also paying attention to the situation. Don't worry, he's definitely no match for Master. Tushan Chunchun came to Tushan Wanwan's side and said confidently, "You're so sure?" "Of course. Master has never been defeated since he walked out of the heavenly tomb. He has never even used his full strength," Tushan Chunchun said. "You little girl, don't tell me you've taken a fancy to him?" Tushan Wanwan looked at Tushan Chunchun suspiciously. How can it be that easy? I still need to observe. My Chunchun is destined to be the most perfect one, Tushan Chunchun said with her hands on her waist. Her jade-like neck and sparkling ears were dark red. Tushan Wanwan shook her head slightly. In the field, Li Jiui directly activated his bloodline power. Obviously, he did not underestimate Jun Xiaoyao at all. Whoosh! A beam of destruction shot out from the infernal evil eye. The infernal imperial clan's evil eyes possessed all sorts of different abilities. For example, Wu Kuan's evil eye had the ability to bind and freeze primordial spirits. The atavistic eye that Li Jiui possessed had many mysterious, powerful, and strange abilities. This beam of destruction was only one of them. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao directly slapped out with his bare hands. A beam of calamity, light, appeared in his palm, as if it came from the heavens. It was the light of tribulation. Although Jun Xiaoyao's Supreme Being bone had shattered and turned into Supreme Being divine blood, Jun Xiaoyao's Supreme Being bone was still a Supreme Being. However, Jun Xiaoyao was able to cast all 3 of the bones of supremacy with ease. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be holding the light of destruction in his palm, which immediately extinguished the beam of the infernal evil eye. He took a step forward and landed in front of Li Jiui. Li Jiu's eyelids twitched. He had just witnessed the power of the chaotic body. He knew that engaging in close combat with the chaos body was no different from courting death. Although Li Jiuyi's physical body was extremely strong, he had been watered and baptized with various treasured liquids since he was young. His physical body was not much weaker than Jin Zhan's, who had a special physique. But the problem was that even Jin Zhan's physical body was destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. His fleshly body was nothing compared to it. Li Jiuyi cast a speed divine ability as black Dao patterns intertwined beneath his feet. In an instant, space fluctuated and he retreated 1,000 feet. At least you have some self-awareness, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Evil, eye-binding God. Li Jiuyi raised his hand again, and the infernal evil eye in his palm released a brilliance. In an instant, Jun Xiaoyao felt that his primordial spirit was bound. This binding force was several times stronger than the move that Wu Kuan had released before. If it was an ordinary primordial spirit, it might have been directly immobilized. However, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was the primordial spirit of 3 lifetimes. In addition, he had the ancient Chaos Imperial Talisman, an imperial weapon that protected his primordial spirit. Even if Li Jiuyi cast the evil eye-binding god, he would not be able to immobilize him. Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao was not affected at all, Li Jiuyi's expression became even more solemn. "Eye of despair," Li Jiuyi shouted sternly as he summoned a quasi-emperor weapon. It was a bronze eye that was stained with blood. It looked strange and terrifying. At the same time, heaven and earth darkened, and a ghostly wind blew. It was as if the wails of billions of living beings rang out. That's the infernal imperial clan's quasi-immortal weapon, a replica of the Eye of Despair. Some of the more knowledgeable prodigies from the foreign domain exclaimed in surprise. The Eye of Despair was the infernal imperial clan's quasi-immortal weapon. Rumor had it that it was a quasi-immortal weapon forged from the despair of billions of living beings. In the previous epochs, when the immortal domain and the foreign domain were fighting, the Eye of Despair would be the Eye of Despair. Every time there was a bloody battle, the infernal imperial clan would use the Eye of Despair to collect the despair of billions of living beings. From this, it could be seen how powerful this quasi-mortal weapon was. And now, although what Li Jiuyi had summoned was only a replica of the Eye of Despair, it had consumed the despair of hundreds of millions of living beings to reach the level of a quasi-emperor weapon. What was even more powerful was that this Eye of Despair could also enhance the ability of the infernal evil eye, making it even stronger. Dark demonic light. A terrifying beam of light shot out from Li Jiuyi's palm, and then directly shot onto the Eye of Despair. The Eye of Despair was like an amplifier, amplifying the power of his move by more than several times. An even more terrifying beam of light pierced through the void and fell straight toward Jun Xiaoyao. Now, that's interesting. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand, and chaotic energy surged. Then, it condensed into a chaotic palm print and slapped out. Boom! A shocking sound resounded through the sky. The prodigies from all directions retreated. Just the aftermath of such a battle could injure prodigies below the quasi-supreme level. Swoosh! A white-clothed figure broke through the smoke and dust and suppressed Li Jiuyi. He's actually fine. Li Jiuyi was really shocked. This was not only the power of the infernal evil eye, but also the enhancement of the Eye of Despair. But even so, it still could not cause any harm to Jun Xiaoyao. Isn't this too ridiculous? The tens of thousands of prodigies present were all dumbfounded. Their eyes widened, and their scalps went numb. Their bodies were about to be petrified. The chaotic physique was indeed the strongest physique in the legends, but it shouldn't be so strong, right? I don't believe this. Li Jiuyi's cheeks twitched slightly. The ability of atavism, the evil eye in the sky, the heaven and earth will collapse. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The sound of an ancient demon god chanting scriptures seemed to be heard between heaven and earth. The sky split open, and a huge evil eye of energy appeared. This was the strongest ability that only the infernal evil eye, which had the ability of atavism, could use. It was rumored that the true immortal of the infernal imperial family could use this ability to cause the heaven and earth to collapse, and the sun and moon to dim. It could instantly kill hundreds of millions of living beings. The eye opened in the sky, and the huge evil eye shot out a thick purple beam of light, illuminating the entire sky. This purple beam of light, with the enhancement of the eye of despair, burst forth with the power of destruction. Not to mention the quasi-supreme level. Even a real Nine Heaven Supreme would feel threatened by the move. Elder Mu was already frowning. This was no longer a spar, but an ultimate move of life and death. We can't let anything happen to the chaotic physique. Elder Mu was ready to intervene. Everyone looked at Jun Xiaoyao. However, they found that Jun Xiaoyao stood there calmly, as if he could not feel this destructive power. Only now can you arouse my interest. Jun Xiaoyao sighed and raised his hand. An incomparably bright brilliance appeared. The Daluo sword embryo appeared. Chapter 941. That dazzling sword light illuminated this gloomy world. Jun Xiaoyao gently stroked the Daluo sword embryo with one hand. The light of tribulation of heaven was enchanted inch by inch. Even the flying immortal patterns on the surface of the sword embryo seemed to be lit up as if they were alive. Jun Xiaoyao waved the Daluo sword embryo and slashed out. Like a white-robed, true immortal, his sword cut through the universe and illuminated the vast expanse. One of the 5 great divine arts, the heaven slashing art, was added to it. 1,000-foot sword light tore through the universe and directly slashed at the huge evil eye in the sky. The sword slashed down. The purple light beam, together with the evil eye, was directly split into 2 and dissipated. The Daluo sword embryo did not lose its momentum and directly slashed at the eye of despair. Crack! The surface of this quasi-emperor weapon-level evil bronze eye was covered in cracks. Then, it was directly shattered by the Daluo sword embryo. All kinds of fragments flew, and the remaining essence energy was absorbed by the Daluo sword embryo, becoming its nourishment and resources. How can this be? Li Jiui was completely dumbfounded and spat out a mouthful of blood. The quasi-emperor weapon-level eye of despair that he had nurtured for a long time was actually shattered. However, before he could be shocked, Jun Xiaoyao casually slashed out with his sword, and sword chi surged, filling the world. Pucci! Li Jiui was sent flying, and a bone-deep wound appeared on his chest. If he was not wearing a soft armor woven from the black jade silkworm, this sword would probably have split his physical body into 2. Jun Xiaoyao slashed down again, but an old servant appeared in front of Li Jiui. It was the old servant who had followed behind Li Jiui before. "Young master, it's about time to stop," the old servant said indifferently, and his expression did not look too good. After all, his young master was at a disadvantage. A true supreme being, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself as his eyes flickered. Li Jiui's old servant was a true supremacy expert. However, Jun Xiaoyao was still not afraid. The corners of his mouth curled into a sneer as he said, "The one who challenged me before was also Li Jiui. Now, you want to end it after exchanging a few moves?" Not only did Jun Xiaoyao not stop, but he also activated the light of calamity, light of reincarnation, and light of sin at the same time. The 3 powers of the Supreme Bone were added to the Daluo sword embryo. Once again, he slashed down with the heaven-cleaving incantation. The eyes of the old Supreme Being servant trembled. He didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao would actually dare to attack him. "You've gone too far." The old servant's expression turned cold, and his eyes flashed with murderous intent. However, because Jun Xiaoyao was the Ares Academy's ancient and unrivaled quasi-war god, he had no choice but to accept it. Therefore, even if he was given 10,000 guts, he would not dare to kill Jun Xiaoyao in front of everyone. However, by injuring Jun Xiaoyao and putting him in a difficult position, it could be said that he had regained some face for his young master. Asking for it, the old servant sneered inwardly. He directly attacked, and the might of a supreme being spread out. He was not from the infernal imperial family, but he also had the battle prowess of a supreme and could be considered a top-notch expert. Boom! The old servant pressed down with his hand, wanting to slap Jun Xiaoyao away. In the end, blood spurted out. The Daluo, sword embryo, directly cut off one of the old servant's arms. What kind of power is that? The old servant revealed a trace of shock. He sensed the power of 3 different attributes on the Daluo, sword embryo. Blood splattered everywhere. The blood of a supreme being smashed into the ground like a meteor, creating deep pits. A supreme being was injured by a quasi-supreme, and his arm was cut off. Countless foreign beings witnessed this scene, so shocked that their souls and primordial spirits were trembling. If they didn't see this scene with their own eyes, they wouldn't dare to believe it. After all, a 7th-level supreme being was not a 9th-level saint. Although it was very difficult to challenge a 9th-level saint, there was no lack of peerless geniuses who could do it. However, at the 7th-level supreme being, challenging someone of a higher level was even harder than ascending to the heavens. Even peerless geniuses found it difficult to do so. Not to mention, there was a fundamental difference between a quasi-supreme and a supreme. Junior, how dare you? The old servant was furious. As a supreme, he was actually injured by a quasi-supreme. His aura surged as he used his ultimate move. At the same time, the power of laws surged. The difference between a supreme and a quasi-supreme was whether they could control a complete set of laws. All cultivators below the supreme being level were cultivating their magical powers. But above the supreme, it was no longer a competition of magic power. Controlling the power of laws was the most important thing. Boom! As soon as the aura of laws appeared, the old servant's aura rose steadily, crushing towards Jun Xiaoyao. Elder Du, don't go too far. Behind him, Li Jiui also shouted when he saw this. It wasn't that he sympathized with Jun Xiaoyao, but if anything happened to Jun Xiaoyao, that ancient supreme of the Ares Academy wouldn't let him off, although he had the support of the infernal imperial family behind him. But obviously, he couldn't stay in the Ares Academy anymore. Don't worry, young master. I know my limits. I'm just educating this arrogant junior, Elder Du said coldly. Educating me? You? As Jun Xiaoyao's voice fell, a cold light flashed in his eyes. He took a step forward, and the chaotic mist behind him surged. Heaven and earth seemed to have returned to their original state, and the chaotic tide surged. In this chaos, the shadow of a primordial god that was even larger than the universe's galaxy opened up the chaotic universe. It was the phenomenon of the chaotic physique, chaos, splitting the heavens. Rumble. The aura of heaven and earth here surged, and pressure swept out. Everyone felt a suffocating pressure. Some people were even trembling. Under this phenomenon, they couldn't raise the slightest bit of fighting spirit. In Jun Xiaoyao's body, not only was there chaotic power surging, after the supreme bone's nirvana, the supreme divine blood was also surging in his blood vessels, flowing throughout his body. This divine blood was sparkling and resplendent. It was divine and holy, causing Jun Xiaoyao's aura to rise steadily, and divine flames burned all over his body. The 4th Paragon technique was unleashed. His attributes soared in all aspects. Kill! Jun Xiaoyao's voice burst out. The 4th Supreme technique caused his strength to soar, and it was combined with the chaotic sky-splitting phenomenon. The zenith heaven sword embryo also slashed down with surging power. Boom! The sky-splitting phenomenon that was supported by the Supreme Technique directly sent Elder Du flying, and he spat out blood. The laws that he used were all crushed and shattered. Elder Du was indeed a Supreme. However, there were also strong and weak Supreme. Elder Du wasn't a peerless genius who became a Supreme, so his strength was naturally not considered the top among the Supreme. The two figures crossed each other. Jun Xiaoyao stopped in his tracks. The divine flames on his body dissipated, and the phenomenon also dissipated. So what if you're supreme? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently, and put away the zenith heaven sword embryo. On the other side, after a short pause, thousands of sword marks suddenly appeared on Elder Du's body. In the end, his body collapsed, and his primordial spirit dissipated. The power of laws that he had condensed also collapsed, turning into specks of light that returned to the world. Everyone present was stunned. Their throats seemed to be blocked, and they couldn't make a sound. He's dead. The chaotic body killed a supreme with the cultivation of a quasi-supreme. A real supreme. A living being shouted, still in a state of disbelief. A quasi-supreme killed a supreme. What kind of talent is this? Even Elder Mu was stunned. He was prepared to intervene. But now, even a supreme was killed by the chaotic body in 2 or 3 moves. Elder Du. Li Jiui was so shocked that his pupils were trembling. Even with his strength, if he squeezed out his potential and used all his strength, he might be able to injure a supreme, but it was impossible for him to truly kill a supreme. Where did this monster come from? Li Jiui found it difficult to maintain his composure as the young master of an emperor clan. While he was shocked, he also felt a trace of regret. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have provoked such a monster for a dispensable woman. Chapter 942. Originally, Li Jiyun had wanted to use Jun Xiaoyao as a whetstone. But now, he had become a whetstone. No, perhaps he was not even qualified to be a whetstone. That was because Jun Xiaoyao had never even taken him seriously. To be able to make Jun Xiaoyao a whetstone, one had to be at least at the level of the 7 minor emperors. For example, the Dark Echelon that was killed by Jun Xiaoyao in the Heavenly Tomb. Only someone like that was qualified to be Jun Xiaoyao's whetstone. All the prodigies present were still shocked. After all, what they saw today had indeed refreshed their understanding of him. Defeating an opponent of the same level was one thing, but he could actually kill a prime. The chaotic body is unparalleled. Even Elder Mu was a little emotional and happy at the same time. The Ares Academy was able to recruit such a good seedling, and he also had a good relationship with the chaotic body. Fourth sister, did you see that? I told you that Sir would be fine. Tushan Chunchun puffed out her chest proudly, seeming to be proud of herself. However, she did not hear Tushan Wanwan's response. Tushan Chunchun turned her head and saw that Tushan Wanwan's cheeks were flushed and her breathing was rapid. Her beautiful eyes flickered with an unprecedented brilliance. She actually looked a little infatuated with him. So powerful. If only I could exchange pointers with him. Tushan Wanwan's heart was beating very fast. She was a martial arts fanatic and advocated martial arts above all. The more powerful a prodigy was, the more he could attract her attention. And now, there was no doubt that she was attracted to Jun Xiaoyao. Tushan Chunchun suddenly wrinkled her nose. She sensed a trace of dangerous, competitive aura. However, they did not notice it. Behind them, Yin Xiaohe looked at Tushan Wanwan's appearance and felt a little uncomfortable. Her Royal Highness has never shown such an expression before, Yin Xiaohe said in his heart. He looked again at the handsome man in white who was the center of attention, and a trace of hostility flashed in his eyes. Even though he knew that he couldn't have any special relationship with Tushan Wanwan, he still wanted to be with her. But he didn't want to see Tushan Wanwan having a relationship with another man. In his heart, Tushan Wanwan would always be a noble and proud flower. And now, this flower was showing such an expression to a man. It was no wonder that Yun Xiaohe felt uncomfortable. On the other side, after killing a supreme martial artist with his own hands, Jun Xiaoyao looked very calm. A supreme being like Old Man Du was considered weak among supreme beings. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was not about to become complacent. He glanced at Li Jiui again. Li Jiui's expression was unnatural as he subconsciously took a few steps back. This small action stunned the surrounding sky prides. What did that mean? This meant that Li Jiyun was subconsciously afraid of Jun Xiaoyao. One had to know that Li Jiui was the young master of an emperor clan, a figure in the top 3 of the 10 great heavenly kings in terms of battle prowess. This kind of top prodigy of the other side actually felt fear towards another person. This was something unimaginable in the past. The primal chaos body is probably going to be famous in the 10 great provinces. Many sky prides sighed in their hearts. Jun Xiaoyao calmly retracted his gaze. Killing a supreme being was already a show of might. If he killed Li Jiui and the others in public now, there would be a lot of trouble. After all, Li Jiuyi's identity was different from Prince Yin, Kong Qianqian, and the others. Those royal clans and top royal clans might be afraid of the so-called immortal king behind him, but the infernal imperial clan would not be so afraid. And only Jun Xiaoyao himself knew. The so-called immortal king behind him was nothing but the evil thoughts of the gods that had been sealed away. There's no hurry. There will be plenty of opportunities to kill them in the future. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Li Jiuyi and the other 4 heavenly king-level prodigies as he thought to himself. In his eyes, these top foreign cultivators were just pigs and dogs waiting to be slaughtered. When he went to the desolate border in the future, he would naturally have the opportunity to destroy them. There was no hurry. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao retract his gaze, Li Jiuyi and the others also subconsciously heaved a sigh of relief. Although their lives were saved, their expressions were not much better. One could imagine that if nothing unexpected happened, Jun Xiaoyao would have a great reputation in the Ares Academy in the future. Among the 10 heavenly kings, who is his match? I wonder if Prince Nirvana, who is ranked first, has a chance? At the very least, only the sleeping princes will be able to suppress him. Li Jiuyi thought to himself. There was no doubt that Jun Xiaoyao would be the leader of the Ares Academy as long as those sleeping princes did not show themselves. Haha, little friend's strength is really eye-opening. Now, there should be no one who doubts that little friend can obtain the quasi-war god status. Elder Mu laughed. His attitude was even more amiable than before. No one refuted. They were all convinced. Many women looked at Jun Xiaoyao with sparkles in their eyes, looking at him with yearning. By the way, little friend, follow me to the inner court. That Gu Wushang also wants to see you. Elder Mu chuckled. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. The Gu Wushang of the Ares Academy wanted to see him? This was not good news for Jun Xiaoyao. After all, the Gu Wushang of the Ares Academy was at least a chaotic Tao Lord. There were even quasi-immortal and immortal realm cultivators. Those people, strength, and vision were all extraordinary. It was difficult to perform in front of them and hide. Most people would feel weak and tremble just by looking at them, not to mention deceiving them. Sure, Jun Xiaoyao nodded lightly. His temperament was not to be underestimated. Besides, Jun Xiaoyao's vision was not small since he was young. What kind of big shots and big scenes had he not seen before? He could even face the legendary Azure, the Arch calmly. Not to mention the Gu Wushang of the Ares Academy. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to leave with Elder Mu, a clear and hesitant voice sounded. Sir, may I have the opportunity to exchange pointers with you in the future? The person who spoke was Tushan Wanwan. She was a little nervous, which was rare. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao anxiously. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's temperament was too aloof, as if he didn't care about anything. Did I hear it wrong? The princess of Tushan actually took the initiative to invite him? The elites around were stunned and thought they had heard it wrong. The 5 princesses of Tushan were very proud. Ordinary men wouldn't even look at them, let alone take the initiative to invite them. I heard that Tushan is going to hold a marriage contest later. This chaotic body is going to become the public enemy of all men, some elites mumbled. Jun Xiaoyao paused for a second and nodded lightly. Okay, thank you. Tushan Wanwan was delighted. She would definitely gain a lot from exchanging pointers with a chaotic body. But she didn't notice that Tushan Chunshan, who was next to her, had a bitter look on her face. She had a feeling that she wanted to share her things with others. At the back, Yun Xiaohei, who was so humble that he didn't have a sense of existence, clenched his fists tightly. There was a touch of jealousy in his eyes as he looked at Jun Xiaoyao's back. Chapter 943. Elder Mu brought Jun Xiaoyao to the inner courtyard of the Ares Academy. As for Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunshan, with their monarch family background, they could easily join the Ares Academy. Fei Qingxue was originally a little worried. But now, when one person achieved the Tao, even his friends and family could ascend to heaven. She was also considered Jun Xiaoyao's maid, so she could join the Ares Academy directly. Li Jiuyi and the others could also join, but they were too ashamed to stay here. They entered the academy with their tails between their legs. After Elder Mu and the others left, the entire place exploded. Jun Xiaoyao had only just begun to show his strength at the heavenly immortal banquet. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's fame had completely risen. 5 of the 10 heavenly kings had attacked, but they were all defeated by him. Li Jiui, who was in the top 3, couldn't even injure Jun Xiaoyao. Even a supreme being was killed by Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao had become famous in one battle, and no one would doubt the true strength of the chaotic physique anymore. I think other than the sleeping princes and princesses, no one should be a match for the chaotic physique. That's right. Even Prince Nirvana, who is ranked first among the 10 heavenly kings, is probably not a match for Jun Xiaoyao. Don't talk nonsense. If Prince Nirvana finds out, your life will be in danger, someone warned. The leader of the 10 heavenly kings, Prince Nirvana. Although he was a prodigy of the blue-red spider lilies. But because he was backed by the mysterious and powerful Nirvana family, Prince Nirvana's personality was a little eccentric and arrogant. If he heard someone belittling him, he wouldn't have a good ending. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao followed Elder Mu into the depths of the Ares Academy. The Ares Academy occupied a large area. Looking around, there were cliffs and strange peaks, green pines and green cypresses. 10,000-year-old herbs were growing freely. There were all kinds of rare beasts jumping around the mountain streams. Rays of light shrouded the place, an immortal fog billowed. Many heavenly palaces floated in the air, like the residences of celestial immortals. Between the winding mountain range, there seemed to be a gathering of dragon chi, a myriad of phenomena, and purple chi rose. This is the Ares Academy. Even someone like Jun Xiaoyao, who had seen much of the world, could not help but sigh inside after entering the Ares Academy. Worthy of being a top-level foreign academy. This reminded Jun Xiaoyao of the Immortal Realm's 9 Heavens Immortal Academy, although he had never been there. However, the 9 Heavens Immortal Academy would not be any weaker than the War God Academy. There should be a dragon vein under the Ares Academy, right? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Mu Lao smiled and said, "Of course. My Ares Academy nurtures a world of geniuses. Luck gathers there and naturally has the dragon vein to suppress it." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly, an inexplicable light flashing in his eyes. This was a dragon's vein that was formed by the fate of an entire realm. If he could absorb it into his own inner universe, wouldn't that be a huge boost to his power? Jun Xiaoyao had already set his sights on the dragon vein. Of course, this had to be considered at length. About a quarter of an hour later, Mu Lao brought Jun Xiaoyao to the depths of the Ares Academy. This place was shrouded in immortal fog and purple energy. With Jun Xiaoyao's sharp senses, he could sense it. There were many ancient and powerful auras hibernating here. From time to time, divine consciousness would sweep across his body. This place was also considered a forbidden area of the Ares Academy. Ordinary people were not qualified to set foot here. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm and composed. His body was the reconstructed chaotic physique. He was also a fateless one, so no one could detect his karma. In addition, he had the sky-stealing, sun-swapping technique. Jun Xiaoyao believed that unless a true immortal paid the price to investigate, it would be impossible to find out his background. However, which immortal would be so free as to pay the price to deduce his karma? Not to mention that Jun Xiaoyao had used the heaven-illuminating technique to manifest the evil thoughts of the gods to confuse the world. No immortal would offend another immortal in order to investigate his whereabouts. This was why Jun Xiaoyao was confident. Of course, if it really came to a point where he had no choice, Jun Xiaoyao also had a way. "That senior lives here. I won't go in," said Mu Lao. "Thank you for leading the way, senior." Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hand slightly. "You're welcome." Mu Lao smiled amiably. Not only did he have the chaotic physique, but his personality was also humble and polite. He was also favored by the ancient supreme. This child will definitely soar in the future. It's not a bad idea to build a good relationship with him now. Mu Lao cupped his hands and left, thinking to himself. Jun Xiaoyao continued forward. In front of him was a purple bamboo forest, with a small bridge and flowing water. It looked like a mountain, but it was filled with purple energy and dragon energy. This place can be considered the source of the dragon vein, the place with the densest dragon energy, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. If he could cultivate here for a long time, the benefits would be extraordinary. He entered the purple bamboo forest. Soon, he was enlightened. In front of him was a residence that was full of immortal energy. There were pavilions and small streams around it. Jun Xiaoyao was wondering who the ancient supreme who had taken a fancy to him was. Jun Xiaoyao arrived in front of the residence. Just as he was about to speak, he realized that the door was half closed. Jun Xiaoyao pushed the door open and entered. However, he was stunned and stopped in his tracks. Inside the door, a woman in a plain dress was sitting on a wooden chair and embroidering. She was shockingly beautiful. Her face was like a hibiscus, and her eyebrows were like willows. Her long blue hair was soft and lustrous, and it poured down to her delicate butt. Her facial features were exquisite and beautiful. Her brows were like a painting, her skin was like snow, her lips were bright, and her teeth were white. There was no flaw to pick out. Her skin was fair and translucent, and it was so tender that water could be squeezed out. She was a woman who looked extremely beautiful. She was graceful, and the way she sat there embroidering was like a painting. The entire world became the background, and she was the only one who sat there gracefully, making the world pale in comparison. Even with Jun Xiaoyao's vision and temperament, he was stunned for a moment. However, he quickly came back to his senses. He had seen many beauties. However, this woman was definitely one of the top 5. Jun Xiaoyao's standards were already harsh enough. However, he was still a little surprised. "Miss, is the owner of this place not here?" Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hands and asked. Only then did the woman stop embroidering, raise her head, and look at Jun Xiaoyao for the first time. She was slightly stunned as well, just like Jun Xiaoyao just now. Perhaps she had never seen a man with such an outstanding temperament. "So, you're the one with the chaotic body?" The woman looked at Jun Xiaoyao with her watery eyes. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao's expression changed slightly. He probed the woman's aura, but he found that he could not detect her depth at all. Either this woman's aura was too deep, or it was too shallow. Obviously, this was the forbidden area of the academy, the source of the dragon vein. Even if she was a maid, it was impossible for her to be so shallow that she had no cultivation at all. In other words, I was right. The woman stood up, and an aura as gentle as a river, but as vast and unpredictable as the universe, spread out and shrouded Jun Xiaoyao. "This woman is the supreme elder who has taken a fancy to me." Even Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised. He initially thought the ancient supreme being would be a white-haired old man, or someone with a mysterious temperament who was superior to everyone else. However, in front of him was a charming and beautiful woman who could overturn the world. This was a little out of place. Jun Xiaoyao felt that every inch of him was being probed by the divine consciousness of the woman in front of him. She's definitely not a 7th level supreme. She's a quasi-immortal level supreme. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with seriousness. He would not let his guard down just because the supreme elder in front of him was a woman. None of the quasi-mortal level experts from the other side were easy to deal with. This woman was on the same level as the Black Peacock King of the Peacock Royal race. "I can't detect your karma and past. You're like a fog without any origin or origin. Tell me the truth, you're from the celestial realm, right? What's your purpose in infiltrating Ares Academy?" The woman's sparkling eyes looked straight at Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 944. The woman's voice was gentle. Even if she was questioning him, it still sounded pleasant and gentle. However, the words that came out of his mouth were clearly pointed at Jun Xiaoyao like knives. It could be said that if it were anyone else, they would definitely tremble in fear and wouldn't be able to remain calm when questioned by a pseudo-immortal. But Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm when he heard that. He just pretended to be surprised and asked, "Senior, why do you say that?" The woman was still looking at Jun Xiaoyao. Being stared at by that pair of bright eyes, anyone would have their imagination run wild. But Jun Xiaoyao was extremely alert. He knew that any pseudo-undying had the ability to reach the heavens. Even the slightest change in breathing couldn't escape a pseudo-immortal's perception. So Jun Xiaoyao's breathing was steady, and he even deliberately controlled his heartbeat. It could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao's acting had reached the pinnacle. In his previous life, if he didn't get an Oscar, it would be a waste of Jun Xiaoyao's acting skills. Your background is very strange. Did someone important help you hide it? The woman said. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly cupped his hands and said, My status as a quasi-war god must have been recommended by you, senior. The woman paused and nodded slightly. If that's the case, if senior thinks that I'm a spy sent by the immortal region, then I'll leave. The so-called quasi-war god identity, I don't need it. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves, revealing a look of anger on his face at the right time. One could say that his acting was superb. Jun Xiaoyao knew that at this moment, it was fine to be calm. But if he was too calm, it would also attract suspicion. At the same time, it was most appropriate to have some youthful spirit. It could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao's intelligence was monstrous. He could see through people's hearts. No matter how strong a pseudo-immortal was, she was still a living being and had emotions. That was the flaw. The woman also showed some surprise on her face. To be honest, it had been a long time since someone spoke to her with such an attitude. Do you know who I am? The woman's gaze was deep. The ancient supreme of the academy, Jun Xiaoyao said. My name is Luo Xiangling, but people are more used to calling me Queen Luo, said the woman named Luo Xiangling. Jun Xiaoyao sighed inwardly. As expected, he was a quasi-undying like Peacock King. In other words, a quasi-emperor. However, for Jun Xiaoyao, who had even seen a mythical emperor, a quasi-emperor did not seem to be much. Senior Luo King, if you suspect me, there is no need for you to summon me as a quasi-war god. Jun Xiaoyao's attitude was neither servile nor overbearing. He did not appear to be too arrogant, nor did he appear to be humble. Luo Xiangling looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a less serious expression. Before this, when I said that you're someone from the immortal realms, I was merely testing you. But now, it seems that I was right. No matter if it's strength, temperament, or talent, they are all exceptional. You are worthy of being a quasi-war god. Luo Xiangling's tone softened. Actually, she had already scanned Jun Xiaoyao. Apart from his mysterious background, there was nothing wrong with him. Jun Xiaoyao also had the aura of dark matter unique to the foreign realms, and it was very thick. It was definitely not something that could be easily imitated by creatures from the immortal realms. Jun Xiaoyao sighed inwardly. This Queen Luo did have some tricks up her sleeve. If it was someone with a weak temperament, they might have been exposed by Luo Xiangling. Luo Xiangling continued. The only thing that puzzles me is that I can't investigate your past and karma, but I can feel that there seems to be an undying existence behind you. When Jun Xiaoyao heard this, he sneered inwardly. How could he come to the war, God Academy, unprepared? Before coming, Jun Xiaoyao had used the sky-stealing sun-swapping technique to connect the karma of the god's evil intent to himself. This was also to prevent Jun Xiaoyao from being spied on by those top experts from the foreign realms. Even if other quasi-undying existences or even undying existences tried to investigate him, they could only find out that he had karma with a mysterious, undying existence. They would mistakenly think that the mysterious, undying existence was protecting him and blocking his karma. Even if it was for the sake of the mysterious, undying existence, the other experts would give him face and not pursue the matter. After all, the foreign realms were very big, even bigger than the immortal realms. Naturally, there would be some unknown, mysterious experts. It was because Jun Xiaoyao was quick-witted that he made sufficient preparations. Only then could he deal with everything calmly. He even dared to trick quasi-undying existences. Senior Luo Xiangling, you are too kind. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He had passed this hurdle for now. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Life was like a play. It all depended on one's acting skills. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. I am just curious. Senior Luo Xiangling and I have never met before. Why would you recommend me to become a quasi-war god? Could it be because of the primal chaos body? As Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, he suddenly felt the temperature of the entire courtyard drop to freezing point. Luo Xiangling's exquisite and flawless jade face was expressionless. Good heavens, did he touch a minefield? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes turned dark. This Luo Xiangling seemed to have an unknown past. The only clue Jun Xiaoyao had was that this Luo Xiangling seemed to be sensitive to the primal chaos body. What was the reason? However, Jun Xiaoyao was very smart. He obviously wouldn't pursue the matter. He cupped his hands and said, "I have been rude. It's fine. Since I recommended you to become a quasi-war god, then, are you interested in becoming my disciple?" Luo Xiangling's words made Jun Xiaoyao's expression freeze. Become her disciple? To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao really didn't think of this. After all, the ancient and supreme Aries Academy usually didn't accept disciples. They were only the foundation and pillars of the academy. They themselves wanted to break through to a higher realm. How would they have the heart to teach disciples? However, to be honest, it would be better for Jun Xiaoyao to agree. After all, Luo Xiangling was one of the ancient and supreme giants of the Aries Academy. With her backing, Jun Xiaoyao became even more unscrupulous in his actions. However, Jun Xiaoyao had his own bottom line. He could only walk his own path. Until now, no one had the qualifications to become his master. Thank you for your kind intentions, Senior Luo Xiangling. However, I am unable to comply, Jun Xiaoyao said. Oh, Luo Xiangling was really surprised. Who is she? One of the ancient and supreme giants of the Aries Academy. It could be said that normal disciples couldn't even meet her, let alone become her disciple. However, Jun Xiaoyao rejected her. You have to rely on yourself to walk your own path. Only you know your own path. Jun Xiaoyao said, "You are the most special man I have ever met." Luo Xiangling's watery eyes were very deep. She seemed to have the unfathomable depth of a quasi-immortal. However, she also seemed to have a purity that didn't belong to humans. This unique temperament made Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flash. He started to have suspicions about Luo Xiangling's background. He had some evil thoughts again. No, he had another idea. Although I used the evil thoughts of a god to create a mysterious quasi-immortal, it is still fake. If I really have a quasi-immortal backing me, then it will be more convenient for me to do things in the foreign realm. Therefore, the only way is conquer this Luo king. Chapter 945. Jun Xiaoyao was considering if he should hug Luo Xiangling's soft, slender thigh and use her as his backing. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao had never purposely chased after a girl. Most of the time, it was girls who chased after him. Jun Xiaoyao did not want to be a scumbag, but he was helpless. His charm made him very popular with girls. He was forced to be a scumbag. Many people felt that it was fake for a girl to fall in love with a guy at first sight. However, Jun Xiaoyao had this charm. This was something that could not be helped. If possible, Jun Xiaoyao also wanted to be ordinary, just like the commoner prince, Junbieli. Furthermore, Jun Xiaoyao's heart was all on cultivation and enjoyment. He had no interest in becoming a Dao companion or getting married. This was also the reason why Jun Xiaoyao did not take the initiative to chase after other girls. However, he was now in a foreign land. Sometimes he could not help himself. Jun Xiaoyao needed a real, substantial figure to back him up at the moment. Otherwise, all sorts of monsters would want to investigate his background and identity. Jun Xiaoyao could hide it for a while, but as long as he revealed a single flaw, he would be exposed. Actually, the best method was to agree to Luo Xiangling and become her disciple. However, Jun Xiaoyao had a bottom line and was insistent. No one had the qualifications to teach him this ancient anomaly. Therefore, he could only settle for the next best thing, which was to rope in this Luo queen to be his backing. However, what qualifications did Jun Xiaoyao have to rope in Luo Xiangling? His face was probably the only thing left. Of course, he might also have the primal chaos physique. This Luo Xiangling seemed to favor the primal chaos physique very much. Otherwise, she would not have recommended Jun Xiaoyao to become a quasi-god of war. Looks like I have to open up this Luo queen's heart and find out her background and past. This way, I can find her weakness and attack her in one fell swoop. Jun Xiaoyao thought. He had a good eye for people. This Luo Xiangling seemed to have the transcendence and depth of a pseudo-immortal. But in fact, there was something very pure in those eyes. The other pseudo-undying beings all lived like 10,000-year-old fox spirits. But Luo Xiangling was a little different. Jun Xiaoyao judged that Luo Xiangling probably didn't have much contact with people. He probably didn't have any family backing him, and had probably been alone for a long time. To put it simply, Luo Xiangling was a woman with pseudo-immortal realm strength who had lived for a very long time. However, she was a little naive. No matter how strong this kind of person was, in the eyes of an old fox like Jun Xiaoyao, he was still an existence that could be conquered and controlled. I don't want to be a freeloader unless the situation forces me to. Jun Xiaoyao sighed in his heart. He had no background in the other side, so he needed the Luo King's support. Luo Xiangling glanced at Jun Xiaoyao. She naturally didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao was already thinking about how to conquer her. You can cultivate here in the future. There's a room next door. Also, although we can't be master and disciple, you can ask me if you have any questions about cultivation. Luo Xiangling's lips curled into a faint smile. She was gentle like water, beautiful and moving. Normal people wouldn't be able to resist this charm and would fall for it. Thank you, Senior Luo King. Jun Xiaoyao purposely revealed a joyful expression. This place was the source of the dragon vein. Cultivating here was indeed very beneficial to Jun Xiaoyao. After all, only ancient supreme beings had the right to live here. Even those elders, pseudo-war god prodigies, and so on could only live slightly outside. There was something more important. Jun Xiaoyao lived next door to Luo Xiangling. More importantly, it was convenient for him to investigate Luo Xiangling's past. Of course, this couldn't be rushed. Although Luo Xiangling had a kind of inhuman innocence, she was still a pseudo-immortal powerhouse. From how Luo Xiangling purposely said that he was a being from the immortal region, it could be seen that Luo Xiangling wasn't an extremely naive person. But this was good. Conquering her would be more interesting. With me around at Ares Academy, no one will make things difficult for you, Luo Xiangling said. Thank you, Senior Luo King. This junior is really flattered. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. His handsome face was very bright. Luo Xiangling was slightly stunned, as if she was immersed in some memories. Then she came back to her senses and said, "Oh right, I still don't know your name." Junior's name is Yu Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao casually gave name. In the eyes of the world, Jun Xiaoyao had already fallen in the ruins of God. No one would associate this with Jun Xiaoyao. Yu Xiaoyao, Luo Xiangling muttered silently. In the following period of time, Jun Xiaoyao lived in Luo Xiangling's courtyard. He lived in a room in the side courtyard. Although this courtyard looked simple, it didn't lack various spirit-gathering formations. Dragon chi surged, and purple filled the air. This kind of cultivation treatment wasn't something that ordinary people could enjoy, other than cultivating alone. Jun Xiaoyao also often exchanged cultivation experiences with Luo Xiangling. Although the difference in cultivation level between the two was huge. But what surprised Luo Xiangling was that Jun Xiaoyao's understanding of cultivation made her gasp in admiration. And Jun Xiaoyao's understanding of Dao also made her gasp in amazement. Xiaoyao, I really wonder if you're the reincarnation of some old monster, Luo Xiangling joked. After spending some time with Luo Xiangling, Jun Xiaoyao found that she seemed to be more innocent than he had imagined. She was just a little wary of outsiders and had set up defenses in her heart. But after getting acquainted, Luo Xiangling's character was quite good. She didn't have the so-called quasi-immortal arrogance. She had a strange temperament that was both powerful and pure. This kind of contrast was a bit of a quirk that poked at people. Senior Xiangling must be joking. Xiaoyao shouldn't be considered old, right? Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. Luo Xiangling also smiled. Her smile was beautiful, and her eyes were sparkling. But your understanding of Tao has made me feel enlightened. If I break through and become an immortal king in the future, it will definitely be thanks to you." Luo Xiangling seemed to be in a good mood. She hadn't chatted so happily with someone in a long time. "Then it's Xiaoyao's honor," Jun Xiaoyao said. The two often communicated, and Jun Xiaoyao also learned a lot. At least he learned that quasi-immortal was the quasi-emperor realm. It was to transform one's own laws into the real Tao. There were a total of 9 tribulations, baptized by the 9 tribulations, and finally transformed into a complete Tao. This was the so-called Tao affirmation to become an emperor. The Scarlet Owl King was once a 9th tribulation quasi-immortal who successfully evolved the Tao and became an immortal king. And the Peacock King and the Luo King in front of him had been in the quasi-immortal realm for many years. Although Luo Xiangling didn't explicitly reveal her cultivation realm, but Jun Xiaoyao guessed that it was definitely around the 8th tribulation. This was already the strongest quasi-immortal. If Luo Xiangling broke through, then Jun Xiaoyao's backing would be even stronger. And just during the time Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling spent together, the entire Ares Academy was also in turmoil because of Jun Xiaoyao's matter. Because there was news from somewhere that Jun Xiaoyao met an ancient supreme, the peerless Luo King, Luo Xiangling, who was rarely seen by ordinary people. This simply caused an uproar, causing countless male disciples and even male elders in the academy to be envious and jealous to the extreme. Any male creature instantly turned into a lemon spirit, and their hearts were extremely sour. Luo Xiangling was the true goddess of Ares Academy. Not only was she beautiful, but she also had absolute strength and status. It was impossible for ordinary people to even meet her, but Jun Xiaoyao was able to receive Luo Xiangling's attention. From Tushan Chunchun to Tushan Wanwan, and then to Luo Xiangling. For a time, Jun Xiaoyao simply became the public enemy of all men, the target of public criticism. Chapter 946. Why was Luo Xiangling so popular in Ares Academy? It was because of the ancient and supreme figures in the academy. They were either white-haired old men or some high and mighty, mysterious, and cold existences. Only this Luo King was rumored to have the looks of a fairy. She was devastatingly beautiful, unlike the other quasi-immortal level existences that made people fear her. And more importantly, the Luo King had never had a Tao companion. He had always been alone. For various reasons, Luo Xiangling's popularity in Ares Academy was extremely high. She could be said to be a goddess-like existence. In front of Luo Xiangling, all the fairies and princesses in the academy seemed immature and pale in comparison. After all, who wouldn't want to say, "Auntie, I don't want to work hard"? Furthermore, this Luo Xiangling was an extremely beautiful old auntie. She had looks, power, strength, and status. Who wouldn't love such a fairy sister? After the news spread, the entire Ares Academy was in an uproar. Then, another piece of news spread. Luo Xiangling actually wanted to take in Jun Xiaoyao as a disciple. However, Jun Xiaoyao rejected her. This left countless male disciples speechless. This chaos physique is really impressive. She even rejected the Luo King's personal invitation. She must be out of her mind. If it were me, I would kowtow to Lord Luo King to take me in. That's right. She really doesn't know how to grasp the opportunity. Many male disciples disgust with jealousy. However, the next piece of news left these male disciples dumbfounded. They could no longer mock her. What? That chaos physique is actually living with Lord Luo King? This news caused a huge uproar in the entire Ares Academy's inner and outer courts. A single man and woman living in the same courtyard. Although there was a huge difference in status and strength. However, many people knew about Jun Xiaoyao's temperament and charm. Furthermore, it was Luo Xiangling who recommended Jun Xiaoyao to become a quasi-wargid. This was very intriguing. Could it be that Your Excellency Luo King wants to eat young grass? Nonsense. What sort of transcendent existence is Her Excellency, the Luo King? Even if the chaos body is invincible among the younger generation, it shouldn't mean much to her, right? That better be the case. Otherwise, my heart will break. Why are you heartbroken? The primal chaos body doesn't stand a chance, and neither do you. When the news of the two of them living in the same residence spread out, a large group of people were heartbroken. The man was heartbroken because of Luo Xiangling. The woman's heartbreak was naturally because of Jun Xiaoyao. In front of the mountain gate, Jun Xiaoyao's white-robed figure had already captured the hearts of countless girls, so that they could have a fantasy object in the lonely night. In the Ares Academy, in an exquisite and beautiful pavilion. What, sir, is living with the Luo King? Tushan Chunshan was not calm at all, not at all. The 9 furry foxtails on his back swung back and forth in annoyance. After hearing that Jun Xiaoyao and the Luo King were living in the same residence, Tushan Chunshan felt an inexplicable sense of anxiety and irritation. Miss Chunshan, sir isn't such a casual person. Perhaps he's just cultivating there. Beside her, Fei Qingxue was also present. After Tushan Chunshan's true identity was exposed, she changed the way she addressed him. That's right. Sir isn't such an ordinary person. I heard that the Luo King is very beautiful. How beautiful is she? Tushan Chunshan crossed her arms and pouted. Fifth sister, I heard that young master is with the Luo King. Is he not back yet? Outside the door, Tushan Wanwan arrived. She was also a little anxious. She had previously agreed to spar with Jun Xiaoyao, but she had not seen Jun Xiaoyao for some time. When Tushan Chunshan heard that, she felt even more depressed. Then, as though she thought of something, her eyes lit up. By the way, tell Elder Mu to get Sir to come out and meet us. With this in mind, Tushan Chunshan rushed out impatiently. Seeing this scene, Tushan Wanwan shook her head slightly. It's not far from the groom's search. What will this girl do then? In the depths of Ares Academy, in the purple bamboo forest, there was a small bridge overflowing water. During this time, Jun Xiaoyao had been cultivating and meditating. If not, he would have an in-depth conversation with Luo Xiangling. To be honest, the experience of a quasi-immortal level fighter was very precious. Many important people's lectures were only qualified to be listened to by quasi-war gods. However, Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling did not have a master-disciple relationship. Jun Xiaoyao had carved out his own path and had a path that belonged solely to him. His vision and understanding of Tao had also benefited Luo Xiangling greatly. Gradually, Luo Xiangling no longer interacted with Jun Xiaoyao as a senior or an important person. The two conversed like a man and a woman of equal status. Xiaoyao, some of your insights have really enlightened me. After another round of conversation, Luo Xiangling's eyes were very bright, and the corners of her lips were slightly raised. She had a faint joy. She did not know why, but she felt very comfortable interacting with Jun Xiaoyao. This was a feeling she had never experienced before. Senior Xiangling's words have also enlightened Xiaoyao, Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. At this moment, Luo Xiangling's eyebrows twitched. She said indifferently, someone is outside. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly and went outside. The person who appeared was Elder Mu. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's arrival, Elder Mu's eyes lit up. Compared to before, Jun Xiaoyao's aura was even more celestial. There's also a sense of stability and transcendence. It seems that you have benefited a lot from interacting with Lord Luo, Elder Mu said warmly. Yes, I have. May I know why you are here, Elder Mu? It's the princess of Tushan. She wants you to go over, Elder Mu said. Usually, Elder Mu wouldn't bother with requests from disciples of the academy. But it was Tushan after all. He still had to give them some face. I understand. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He had been living too leisurely here recently. He had almost forgotten about the white-haired lowly. Jun Xiaoyao returned to the room and explained the matter. Since you have something to do, go ahead, Luo Xiangling said lightly. Xiaoyao, farewell. Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hand slightly and turned to leave the courtyard. The corner of his lips curled into a faint smile. It just so happened that he needed to leave Luo Xiangling for a while. There was one move in the 36 stratagems, loosening the reins only to grasp them better. It was actually very simple. It was to let the girl familiarize herself with his presence. He would subtly influence her to get used to his presence. Then, he would suddenly leave, causing the girl to feel empty in her heart, as though she had lost something. The longer he was away, the more the girl's thoughts would wander. This was a well-tested move. I'll put aside for a while. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He would leave Luo Xiangling there for a while. Putting it aside for a while was not a bad idea. Following that, Jun Xiaoyao came to the pavilion where Tushan Chunchun and the others were. Sir, seeing Jun Xiaoyao appear, Tushan Chunchun's little face revealed a look of pleasant surprise. Like a swallow returning to its nest, she pounced to Jun Xiaoyao's side. Sir, what have you been doing all this time? Tushan Chunchun blinked her big eyes and asked. Ahem, my stomach hasn't been very good recently. I've been living off a woman. Jun Xiaoyao coughed dryly. Chapter 9:47. Living off a woman? With your cultivation, do you still need to eat? Tushan Chunchun's little face was filled with suspicion. She obviously didn't know what he meant. Jun Xiaoyao smiled and didn't explain further. By the way, I heard that you're living with King Luo. Is she pretty? Tushan Chunchun continued asking. She's very pretty, Jun Xiaoyao answered honestly. That was the truth. Is it? Tushan Chunchun's face fell. She was a little unhappy, and her heart ached. Then, as if she was unwilling to give up, she gestured with her hands in front of her chest. Is she big here? Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. He was speechless. What was this little girl thinking? That was a quasi-immortal level expert. Staring at someone else's chest? Even if you want to die, that's not the way to do it. Little one, what are you thinking about all day long? Jun Xiaoyao knocked on Tushan Chunchun's head. However, Jun Xiaoyao thought about it. It didn't seem small. It had some weight. Most importantly, the shape and curve were perfect. Young master, you're finally here. You promised me that you'd fight with me. Tushan Wanwan interrupted impatiently. Her martial heart was already somewhat unable to restrain itself. I promised Miss Wanwan before. Of course I can. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Then let's go to the martial arts arena. Tushan Wanwan was very happy. A charming smile appeared on her beautiful face. Looking at the two of them, Tushan Chunchun's big eyes rolled even more. They arrived at the martial arts arena. The martial arts arena was a large square floating in the air. There was an extremely strong defensive array on the surface that could block the fluctuations of battle. At the martial arts arena, many disciples of Ares Academy were sparring. That's the chaotic body. He's here. Jun Xiaoyao's arrival had undoubtedly attracted everyone's attention. Jun Xiaoyao sensed that many men were looking at him with a hint of jealousy in their eyes. He thought about it for a moment and understood. Femme fatale. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. This principle was the same no matter where one went. However, he must win over Luo Xiangling. This bunch of bootlickers could only be envious. In the crowd, there was an inconspicuous and humble figure. It was a young man with black fox ears and a black fox tail. It was Yun Xiaohei. He wasn't qualified to join the Ares Academy, but because he was Tushan Wanwan's groom, he could come with her. At this moment, Yun Xiaohei saw Tushan Wanwan and Jun Xiaoyao walking over side by side. He clenched his fists and his face darkened. It's just a normal spar. Yun Xiaohei comforted himself. Young Master Xiaoyao, please. Tushan Wanwan stood above the arena. She had learned from Jun Xiaoyao that his name was Yu Xiaoyao. Tushan Wanwan flipped her slender wrist, and a green spear appeared in her hand. Paired with her close-fitting green armor and her neat high ponytail, she looked even more valiant and formidable. Come. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. I won't hold back then. Tushan Wanwan attacked. The spear in her hand trembled, and her dermic powers burst forth. One had to admit that as the princess of an imperial family and a battle-hungry heart, Tushan Wanwan was not weak. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and flicked his finger to meet Tushan Wanwan's spear. Young Master Xiaoyao, don't underestimate me. Tushan Wanwan shouted. Clang! Tushan Wanwan was directly forced back and felt her arm go numb. So powerful. Tushan Wanwan's beautiful eyes brightened, as if she had seen a treasure. Jun Xiaoyao put one hand behind his back and used the other to fight Tushan Wanwan. He wasn't serious at all. It was like he was playing. As the two of them fought, Tushan Wanwan used all her strength. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was calm and relaxed. As expected of the chaotic body, his strength is not to be underestimated. Of course, although I'm a bit jealous, his talent and strength are there. What can I do? Many people sighed. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had fought thousands of rounds. Tushan Wanwan was panting, but she couldn't stop at all. She felt that Jun Xiaoyao was deliberately teaching her, and her strength was also increasing significantly. Young Master Xiaoyao, take this. Tushan Wanwan's spear trembled, and dermic powers surged behind her. The illusion of a nine-tailed green fox appeared. This was the original form of the demon fox unique to Tushan. It could greatly increase one's combat strength. Below, Yun Xiaohei saw this scene, and for some reason, his head suddenly throbbed. In the dark, there seemed to be a black fox, as black as ink, exuding a destructive aura, watching him. There were 10 foxtails behind it. What's going on? Yun Xiaohei pressed his temples. He was still paying close attention to Tushan Wanwan. Oh, interesting. The original form of the demon fox. Jun Xiaoyao was a bit interested. He casually threw out a palm, and the chaotic aura gathered and turned into a chaotic giant handprint. It was as if a corner of the sky was overturned. Boom! There was an explosion and ripples spread everywhere. A delicate figure fell from the sky at an extremely fast speed. It was Tushan Wanwan, even though she was not weak and had displayed the original form of the demon fox. However, his opponent was Jun Xiaoyao, someone who was capable of killing even supremes. Your Highness. Seeing this, Yun Xiaohei's face changed. He rushed out and wanted to catch Tushan Wanwan. Swoosh! However, the void flashed. Jun Xiaoyao's white-robed figure landed right next to Tushan Wanwan, who was falling. He held Tushan Wanwan's slender waist that was wrapped in soft armor with one hand. Although they were separated by armor, he could feel her amazing flexibility and elasticity. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to control my strength. I hope Miss Wanwan won't be offended, Jun Xiaoyao said apologetically. Tushan Wanwan's body stiffened and her mind went blank. Since she was young, this was the first time a member of the opposite sex hugged her. Jun Xiaoyao's arms were very strong, and the smell of his body was very pleasant. It gave her a sense of security that she had never felt before. Tushan Wanwan was in a daze, and her face turned red unconsciously. If the other sisters saw Tushan Wanwan like this, they would definitely exclaim, "How could a tomboy blush?" Miss Wanwan. Jun Xiaoyao tilted his head slightly and looked down at Tushan Wanwan. I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Xiaoyao, for saving me. Tushan Wanwan stuttered. She did not dare to look into Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. She looked down. However, she inadvertently discovered that the red string tied to her snow-white wrist seemed to tremble slightly. Could it be? Tushan Wanwan's heart skipped a beat. She had found her Mr. Right? Otherwise, why would the red string move? Everyone around them was stunned. Good Lord, he hugged her just like that? Tushan Chunchuan's crystal-clear eyes were wide open, and her rosy little mouth was wide open. She looked like she was shocked. On the other side, Yin Xiaohei's body froze on the spot, as if he was struck by lightning. The footsteps he took froze in place. He looked at Tushan Wanwan, who was hugged by Jun Xiaoyao but did not show any resistance or disgust. Yin Xiaohei felt like his heart was being squeezed. It was so painful that he could not breathe. It was as if there were hundreds of thousands of thunderbolts roaring in his mind. The goddess in his heart was in the arms of another man, and she even showed an embarrassed look. The jealousy in his heart turned into shame and resentment. A dark and ferocious intent appeared in Yun Xiaohei's eyes. He did not even notice it. Chapter 948. Jun Xiaoyao sensed something strange. It was a faint dark aura, and at the same time, it was filled with extreme hostility. Jun Xiaoyao glanced around and saw the young man who rushed out of the crowd and seemed to be ready to step forward to save Tushan Wanwan. But because Jun Xiaoyao had already made a move, he naturally had no chance. A dark light flashed in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. That young man gave him a very strange feeling. Young Master Xiaoyao, can you let go? Tushan Wanwan lowered her head and really didn't know how to deal with it. After all, this was the first time she was so close to the opposite sex. Sorry. Jun Xiaoyao let go of his arm. Tushan Wanwan blushed and broke away from Jun Xiaoyao's arms. But there was a trace of nostalgia in her heart. That embrace did give her a very warm and steady feeling. Who is this? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Yun Xiaohe. Tushan Wanwan hadn't come back to her senses yet. After a long while, she said, "Oh, he's my groom. It's good that your highness is fine." Yun Xiaohe lowered his head and didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to see the jealousy in his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao was so sensitive that he had already noticed it. He also immediately understood that Yun Xiaohe should have a longing for Tushan Wanwan. It was just that the difference in status was too big, so he could only hide it in his heart. But now, seeing the goddess in his heart being held in the arms of another person, he would have such feelings. Jun Xiaoyao actually didn't care. There were many people who were jealous of him. He wouldn't care about a lowly servant. But what caught Jun Xiaoyao's attention was the faint dark aura exuding from this young man. This attracted his attention. Interesting. Let's wait and see, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He didn't know if there would be such a coincidence, and it would be just as he guessed. Young Master Xiaoyao, in the future, will I still have the chance to spar with you? Tushan Wanwan blushed and asked. She felt it too. Although she had only fought with Jun Xiaoyao once, Jun Xiaoyao had given her a lot of pointers in the process. She felt that she was making rapid progress. Of course. I'll be waiting for you any time, Jun Xiaoyao said. In any case, he didn't plan to return to Luo Xiangling's place for the time being. Thank you, young master, Tushan Wanwan said happily. This caused the two of them to feel very stifled. One of them was naturally Yin Xiaohe. The other person was naturally Tushan Chunchun. Her face was as black as the bottom of a pot. If you need anything, just come to me. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves and turned around to leave. Tushan Wanwan stared at Jun Xiaoyao's back blankly. At this moment, a clear and sweet voice sounded with an angry tone. Sister Wanwan, I think we need to have a good talk. Tushan Chunchun put her hands on her hips and looked very serious. Little Five, are you jealous? Tushan Wanwan raised her eyebrows. Although we are sisters, we still have to pay attention to the order of arrival. I was the one who started it. Tushan Chunchun puffed up her cheeks. There's no order of arrival when it comes to love. It belongs to whoever grabs it first. Tushan Wanwan snorted. Ah, Sister Wanwan, you really have feelings for young master. No way. Tushan Chunchun pounced on Tushan Wanwan like a hungry cat pouncing on its prey. The two women were fighting together, which was a beautiful scene. However, many of the male sky prides present felt sour in their hearts. One of the elites said in a daze, if this continues, does Tushan still need to hold a matchmaking contest? In the following days, Jun Xiaoyao didn't return to Luo Xiangling's place. Of course, he didn't waste any time. As the Ares Academy's quasi-god of war, the resources Jun Xiaoyao could mobilize were shocking. It could be said that they were definitely not inferior to the direct descendants of those immortal emperors. In fact, they were even more generous. Even with Jun Xiaoyao's experience, these resources were not cheap. Elixirs of immortality, divine weapons, immortal gold, ores, immortal letters, powerful cultivation techniques, and so on. As long as Jun Xiaoyao wanted it, he could get it. He didn't hold back. Wasn't it good to get it for free? Those divine weapons, immortal gold ores, and immortal gold ores were all absorbed by Jun Xiaoyao's myriad chi cauldron and zenith heaven sword embryo. These two weapons were already pseudo-emperor weapons, and they both had the potential to evolve. The zenith heaven sword embryo would at least become a pseudo-immortal weapon in the future. It might even become a true immortal weapon. As long as the myriad chi cauldron had enough resources, it could easily become an immortal weapon. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao was also reading those immortal letters and powerful cultivation techniques. The foreign realms' cultivation techniques were very different from the celestial domains. Jun Xiaoyao was verifying the foreign realms' cultivation techniques, comparing them with the celestial domains. In the end, he refined the essence and used it to sublimate his own cultivation techniques and Tao. Although this kind of improvement couldn't be clearly reflected in his cultivation realm. But for Jun Xiaoyao's future cultivation, condensing the laws and transforming the great Tao, it was extremely helpful. Of course, during this period, Tushan Wanwan would come to find Jun Xiaoyao to spar every few days. Jun Xiaoyao didn't refuse. The relationship between the two became more and more harmonious. Whether Jun Xiaoyao was sincere or not, only he knew in his heart. As for Tushan Wanwan, she was more and more tempted. Try asking. There was a mysterious, powerful, handsome, and gentle man who was willing to cultivate with you every day. Even if you were a weakling who wasn't worth mentioning in his eyes, he would still patiently teach and guide you. Which woman wouldn't be tempted? Tushan Wanwan could even tie the red string of marriage to Jun Xiaoyao. It was just that she felt a little embarrassed and didn't do so. Tushan Chunchun also had a face full of jealousy, forcefully interrupting, also wanting Jun Xiaoyao to spar with her. For a time, Jun Xiaoyao's life became a little more interesting. Of course, there was a contrast. It was Luo Xiangling's side. In the courtyard, Luo Xiangling was dressed in a plain long dress, outlining her hazy and slender perfect figure. Her long blue hair scattered over her delicate buttocks, setting off a snow-white peerless dimple. Her eyebrows were like distant mountains, her eyes like stars, her red lips were a little bit, and her teeth were like jade. Her exquisite and beautiful appearance could be said to be rare in the world, unforgettable at first glance. It could be said that such a woman, anyone who saw her would find it hard to forget, wishing to see her every day. Not to mention, being able to live with this woman was simply the blessing of 3 lifetimes. However, Jun Xiaoyao, who had such good fortune, didn't return for a month after leaving. It even gave people the feeling of abandoning his wife. Still not back yet, Luo Xiangling murmured. She thought that Jun Xiaoyao would come back in 2 or 3 months. But now a month had passed, and Jun Xiaoyao still hadn't come back. Of course, Luo Xiangling could also check with her divine consciousness, but she didn't do so. I'm obviously used to being alone. Luo Xiangling stretched out her slender fingers and rubbed her temples. It had been such a long time, and he had come here alone. Why did it feel so lonely now? Maybe it was because discussing Tao with Jun Xiaoyao gave Luo Xiangling a long-lost sense of joy. Let's go and take a look. In the end, Luo Xiangling couldn't help but want to know what Jun Xiaoyao was doing. She usually didn't leave her courtyard. With Luo Xiangling's quasi-immortal level cultivation, naturally, she could arrive outside Jun Xiaoyao's residence in an instant, and no one would notice. Luo Xiangling saw at a glance that Jun Xiaoyao and Tushan Wanwan were very close, their bodies leaning against each other. Jun Xiaoyao leaned close to Tushan Wanwan's ear, as if he was saying something to her. Seeing such an intimate scene, Luo Xiangling was stunned. Chapter 949. When you make a move, you have to fully mobilize the spiritual power source in your spiritual sea. Unite your waist and horse, and concentrate the energy on one point. Jun Xiaoyao stuck close to Tushan Wanwan and pointed at her body. Wherever he pointed, Tushan Wanwan would feel numb. Although she knew that Jun Xiaoyao was seriously teaching her, Tushan Wanwan's pretty face was still hot and red. Tushan Chunchun, who was on the side, ground her silver teeth, as if she had turned into a little resentful wife. Jun Xiaoyao sensed a trace of abnormality. The corners of his mouth curved into an imperceptible arc. Did she really come? Although Jun Xiaoyao's godly soul was very sensitive, logically speaking, it was impossible for him to detect Luo Xiangling in the dark. However, when he was with Luo Xiangling, he deliberately put some light incense on his body. When Luo Xiangling discussed Tao with her, she would naturally be stained with a trace of this incense. So now, when Jun Xiaoyao smelled this trace of incense, he could conclude that Luo Xiangling had come. She just didn't show up and hid in the dark. Luo Xiangling probably wouldn't have thought that the trace of incense she ignored would actually let Jun Xiaoyao detect her presence. From this, it could be seen how scheming Jun Xiaoyao was. Compared to him, although Luo Xiangling was strong, she seemed a little naive. "Are you teaching others?" Luo Xiangling murmured. This should have been a very normal thing. However, in Luo Xiangling's heart, she didn't know why, but there was a little knot in her heart. It was very small and subtle, but it really existed. In fact, this couldn't be considered as real jealousy. After all, Luo Xiangling was a quasi-immortal after all. She wasn't the kind of girl who was young at heart and wouldn't fall in love so easily. It was even more impossible for her to have any feelings for Jun Xiaoyao during this period of time. At most, she would have a good impression of him. But this was human nature. For example, a person of the opposite sex who was talking to you intimately just a moment ago would suddenly become intimate with another person of the opposite sex in the next moment. What would you think? Even if they weren't in a romantic relationship, wouldn't they feel a little uncomfortable? This was what Jun Xiaoyao was sure of. Let's leave Luo Xiangling alone for a while. Then, he would make her feel this strange emotion. If he couldn't even generate this kind of emotion, then there was no chance at all. This also meant that Luo Xiangling had no feelings for Jun Xiaoyao at all. However, from the looks of it now, that was clearly not the case. Luo Xiangling was silent. He didn't show himself, but turned and left. He noticed that the wisp of fragrance had dissipated. Jun Xiaoyao let go of Tushan Wanwan. "Young master, please give me some more pointers." Tushan Wanwan had learned to act like a spoiled child. "Sis Wanwan, you've gone too far." Tushan Chun pouted. Acting coquettishly was her privilege. "Just practice according to my instructions." Jun Xiaoyao shook his head with a smile. Tushan Wanwan probably didn't know that she was just a tool in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Meanwhile, on the path outside the pavilion, Yun Xiaohei was waiting here with a heavenly feather horse. He clenched his fists so tightly that his teeth were about to break. Every few days, Tushan Wanwan would ride the heavenly feather horse to Jun Xiaoyao's residence to spar. This feeling was like watching a goddess go to someone else's room every day. Although it had nothing to do with him, Yun Xiaohei always felt that he was being cheated on. The fourth princess, who used to be noble and unparalleled in front of him, was acting like a sycophant, coming to see him every few days. "If I have enough strength, if I can defeat that person with the chaotic body in front of Her Highness," Yun Xiaohei clenched his fists tightly. If he was strong enough, he could defeat the person with the chaotic body and be valued by Tushan. Tushan Wanwan would naturally look at him in a different light. Weakness was the original sin. "Come back." In Yun Xiaohei's mind, that demonic voice appeared again. "Forbidden land, demon sealing tomb. Go and find the power that belongs to you." Demon sealing tomb? Yun Xiaohei was stunned. That was an absolute forbidden land in Tushan's state. There were few people there. What secret is in my body? No matter how stupid Yun Xiaohei was, he understood that there seemed to be some unknown power in his body. He touched his abdomen and felt that the dark hexagram mark was burning. The matchmaking event is my only chance. If I can get the power to defeat the person with the chaotic body, then Her Highness Yun Xiaohei's eyes showed a hint of determination. He would never give up the goddess in his heart. Time passed day by day. More and more prodigies gathered at Ares Academy. News came that there seemed to be some movement at the desolate border. In the near future, Ares Academy might send people to the desolate border to train and compete with the monsters of the Nine Heavens Immortal Academy. Therefore, the entire Ares Academy was seizing the time to cultivate. There was also news that some of the sleeping princes and princesses were about to wake up. At that time, they would also come to the academy and then go to the desolate border. In short, the atmosphere of a storm was spreading. There would be a cruel battle soon. At that time, the desolate border would not be as small as the world of the divine ruins. The desolate border? At that time, we should be in contact with the celestial realm. The seven defiant emperors, Gu Tizi, Long Yao Feather King, and the others, how are they doing? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes surged with coldness. If they knew that not only did he not die, but he had also transformed into the chaotic body, and could even transform into a quasi-connate sacred body Tao fetus, they would be so shocked that their eyeballs would fall out. And my followers, Yin Qingying, you, and the others, everyone from the Jun family. Jun Bieli, did he fulfill his promise and let the hidden bloodline return? The dormant seed should have been born by now. How are Sister Sheng Yi and the others? Jun Xiaoyao had many questions in his heart. After he was stranded in the foreign realm, he was directly isolated from the celestial realm. He could not find any news. Only in the desolate border could he come into contact with the celestial realm and find out news from there. Has the celestial realm forgotten about me? I'm really looking forward to it. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. A king would return one day. At that time, everyone in the celestial realm would know about this game against the heavens. He won. After ignoring Luo Xiangling for so many days, it's time to go and see her. Jun Xiaoyao got up and prepared to go to Luo Xiangling's side. The desolate borders matter still needed some time. There was no rush now. Right now, the most important thing was to cultivate and then rope in Luo Xiangling. Jun Xiaoyao did not want to ignore Luo Xiangling for too long. There had to be a limit to everything. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to go, Fei Qingxue brought a piece of news. Sir, the Heaven's Chosen meeting is about to begin. Are you not going? Heaven's Chosen meeting, what is that? Jun Xiaoyao asked. He was not in the mood to participate in some miscellaneous meeting, unless it was the immortal banquet, where he could gain something. Because the War God Academy selection requirements are very high, and there are only about 10,000 spots. Many geniuses find it difficult to enter. Therefore, they want to become the followers of the Academy's disciples and indirectly enter the Academy to cultivate. Sir's name now shakes the 10 great provinces, and you are the quasi-war god of the Academy. Who knows how many young elites and geniuses want to follow you? Fei Qingxue said. When Jun Xiaoyao heard this, he understood. After all, it was just a selection of followers. It was difficult for them to fight for a spot in the Academy, so they followed those geniuses who had already entered the Academy and joined the Academy. There's no need for that for now. Jun Xiaoyao was not interested and shook his head. He did not need any followers now. Sir, there's one more thing. At the Heaven's Chosen meeting, the Nirvana Prince of the Blue Hurricane Lily bloodline will also appear. I heard that he's going to execute someone in public. Blue Hurricane Lily bloodline? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. The Nirvana family was also a bloodline he needed to investigate in the future. He wanted to find out what kind of karma the Nirvana family had with that ghost-masked woman. Who was he going to execute? Jun Xiaoyao asked casually. I heard that it's a traitor of the Nirvana family. In the world of the ruins of God, he once blocked the attack of the Jun family son of God. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed, and a hint of coldness flashed across his eyes. Chapter 950. She had taken a blow for him in the ruins of God. Other than Xianyu, there was no one else. Just as Jun Xiaoyao had expected, Xianyu had landed in the alien territory with him. However, due to the spatial turbulence and other circumstances, she had landed in a different place from him on the way. In the ruins of God, Xianyu had stood in front of him. This was something that many alien territory creatures had witnessed with their own eyes. Now that someone had discovered Xianyu's tracks in the alien territory and captured her, it was only natural that she would be viewed as a traitor. Sir, feeling the sudden drop in temperature, Fei Qingxue couldn't help but tremble slightly. It's fine. There's no harm in going and taking a look, Jun Xiaoyao said. Fei Qingxue nodded slightly. It was only then that she realized that Jun Xiaoyao, who was usually gentle and refined and always had a gentle smile on his face, had a cold look in his eyes. However, Fei Qingxue didn't dare to casually guess Jun Xiaoyao's thoughts. Executing Xianyu. Jun Xiaoyao sneered in his heart, although he didn't have a good impression of Xianyu. After all, Xianyu had once injured Jiang Xingyi and even almost threatened Jiang Xingyi's life. However, Xianyu had taken a blow for him. This was something that Jun Xiaoyao hadn't expected. However, this wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that Xianyu was from the Nirvana realm. She was wearing a ghost mask, which made Jun Xiaoyao feel that she was similar to the ghost mask woman. Therefore, even if it was to find out some information about the Nirvana realm, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't let Xianyu die for the time being. Prince of the Nirvana realm. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with indifference. He didn't care about the blue hurricane lily at all. No one could touch the person he wanted. The location of the Chosen One Grand Ceremony was in a city not far from the Ares Academy. Right now, this city was already packed with people, and there was a sea of people. There were more than 100,000 prodigies gathered here. Many of the Sky Prides were dressed luxuriously. Their auras were extraordinary, and their auras were extremely powerful. It wasn't that many of them couldn't meet the requirements of the Ares Academy. The Ares Academy only had so many spots. There were only 9,999 spots in the outer courtyard. The inner yard was even rarer. There were only 999 seats. This resulted in a situation where there were too many monks and too little gruel. Not to mention the elites of the monarch clans and pseudo-monarch clans. They were practically guaranteed to be admitted to the Ares Academy. Then, the remaining spots would be even fewer. Therefore, the only way to enter the Ares Academy was to enter the Ares Academy. That was to become a follower of those disciples of the Academy. Of course, even though they were followers, if their statuses were similar, they would only treat each other as equals. It was equivalent to asking a friend to pull strings. This was also something that the Ares Academy had tacitly acknowledged. It could be considered a form of tolerance as long as it didn't break the rules. It was because of this that the atmosphere in the entire city was extremely lively. The square in the center of the city was densely packed with people. Gosh, that's the heavenly talent of the Nether Shadow royal family. The young geniuses of the Ghost Eye royal family are also here. Tis TSK. Why does it feel like this Chosen One gathering is much livelier than before? Of course. After all, there's a quasi-god of war with a chaotic physique. I guess many people are here for him. Many conversations and discussions could be heard in the square. Although the previous Chosen One gatherings were also very lively, they were not as popular as this one. The most important reason was naturally because of Jun Xiaoyao. The quasi-god of war who was first selected had the chaotic physique. If they could follow Jun Xiaoyao, they would be able to ascend to the heavens. If Jun Xiaoyao could really become a god of war in the future, then they would be the followers of the god of war. Moreover, there was news recently that one of the ancient supreme beings of the Academy, the Luo King, thought highly of Jun Xiaoyao. This made many prodigies want to become Jun Xiaoyao's followers even more. Among them, there were more female prodigies than male prodigies. I heard that the chaotic physique has the looks of a banished immortal. He's powerful and handsome. I love him. Why don't you squat down and pee in a pool of water and look at yourself? Do you think the Lord Chaotic Physique will take a fancy to you? You bunch of flirtatious cheese are not qualified to follow that lord. Many female prodigies started arguing with each other. They're here. The people from the Ares Academy are here. Suddenly, a prodigy shouted loudly. In the distance, many ships, flying boats, mounts, and carriages flew over. They were all disciples of the Academy. Leading them were a few of the 10 heavenly kings, Li Jiui, Jin Zhan, and the others. So that lord hasn't come yet. How disappointing. Do you think the Lord Chaotic Physique won't recruit followers? Then what's the point of us coming? Some female prodigies glanced at the newcomers and were slightly disappointed. Hearing those discussions, the corners of Li Jiui's eyes twitched. If it weren't for the fact that these prodigies had powerful backgrounds, he really wanted to slap them. I heard that Prince Nirvana is also coming this time. I want to see if that Lord Chaotic Physique dares to provoke the leader of the 10 heavenly kings. Li Jiui thought coldly. At that moment, a cold female voice sounded. No matter what, I believe that I will be able to gain the favor of the Lord Chaotic Physique. A beautiful figure flew over from afar. It was a woman in a blue dress. She had a graceful and beautiful temperament, and her appearance was also extremely good. Her cold and beautiful appearance made the hearts of many prodigies skip a beat. They couldn't help but feel stunned. There was a blue crescent moon mark between her eyebrows, indicating her identity. She was from the Quasi-Emperor clan, the Blue Moon clan. It's Fairy Udai of the Blue Moon clan. She actually came here to become a follower? Many prodigies were stunned. They felt like their jaws had dropped. The Blue Moon clan was a Quasi-Emperor clan. They were high and mighty. Although Fairy Udai was not a direct descendant of the Blue Moon clan, she was still a prodigy with quite a status. She was definitely much nobler than Kong Qianqian of the Black Peacock royal clan. However, such a beautiful woman actually had to come here and become someone else's follower. This really made everyone's jaws drop. With Fairy Udai's status, she should be able to directly join the Ares Academy, right? I reckon her goal should be the chaotic physique. After all, the status of a quasi-god of war's follower is much nobler than that of an inner yard disciple. Many people looked at Fairy Udai and discussed in low voices. Some of the women's eyes were even gloomy. They were all good-looking, and many of them were princesses of the royal clan. However, compared to Fairy Udai, they were instantly overshadowed. It was like comparing a firefly to the bright moon. It seems like only Fairy Udai will be chosen by the chaotic physique. Some female prodigies sighed. Fairy Udai, you're here too. Why don't you come with me? Of course, being a follower is just a title. Li Jioi said when he saw Fairy Udai. The prodigies present were all extraordinary, but only Fairy Udai stood out like a crane among chickens. Her appearance, status, and strength were all the most outstanding. She was even nobler than his previous concubine, Kong Qianqian. Fairy Udai shook her head slightly and said apologetically, "Thank you for your invitation, young Master Li Jioi, but Udai already has a candidate she likes." All right then. Hearing this, Li Jioi pretended to nod indifferently, but the trace of embarrassment in his eyes could not be erased. He was a dignified young master of the Monarch clan. He took the initiative to invite her, but he was rejected. It was simply humiliating. It's that chaotic physique again. Li Jioi cursed in his heart. Jun Xiaoyao alone made it, so that he could not even take in a follower he liked. Just sitting by his side with the chaotic physique will cause one to be tainted by the chaotic will, not to mention that he also has the status of a quasi-god of war. With my charm, I will definitely be able to capture him and have sex with him. If I can give birth to a child with the chaotic bloodline, then my status in the Blue Moon clan will be even higher than that of the Heavenly Maiden. Fairy Udai's expression was noble and cold. However, in her heart, she was thinking about how to seduce Jun Xiaoyao. Give birth to a child with the chaotic bloodline. Her train of thought was amazing. Chapter 9:51. Fairy Udai was extremely confident in her appearance and figure. She was not a peerless beauty like the 5 beauties of Tushan, Mengnu or Luo Xiangling. However, there were also many male prodigies who had fallen for her. It could be said that even some of the emperor race prodigies, young masters, and so on would favor her. Li Jioi's invitation was an example. However, Fairy Udai was very ambitious. She was unwilling to accept the status quo. Her status in a race was not that of an emperor or a goddess. Therefore, the only way was very simple, to climb up the social ladder. As for Jun Xiaoyao, his name had shaken the 10 great states some time ago. He had a chaotic physique, and it was rumored that he had a mysterious immortal backing him. In addition, his temperament was like a perfected immortal, and his appearance was peerless. Such a person was simply the ideal partner for Fairy Udai. Among the prodigies present, only I am most qualified to be accepted as a follower by the chaotic physique. Fairy Udai's beautiful eyes swept across the square. There were many outstanding prodigies, but few could compare to her. Generally speaking, the chances of the opposite sex being accepted as a follower were higher. After all, the followers of some prodigies also played the role of concubines. Next, some of the academy's disciples began to choose their followers. Li Jioi also chose a few female followers with a sullen expression. However, the quality was clearly not as high as Fairy Udai's. The fact that Jun Xiaoyao was still nowhere to be seen made some of the geniuses present secretly anxious. Even if they were not qualified to be chosen by Jun Xiaoyao, it was still good to be able to admire this chaotic physique. After all, it was a rare physique that many people had never seen in their entire lives. Fairy Udai was very calm. She stood on the ground like a blue immortal flower. A small empty space was cleared around her. No one dared to offend Fairy You Die. In the midst of the crowded crowd, there was a thin and dirty girl who was being squeezed. She was a girl about 15 or 16 years old. She was wearing a somewhat dirty and tattered red dress. Her hair was also a little messy, covering her eyes and part of her cheeks. However, upon closer inspection, one could see that there were centipede-like scars on the girl's face. It looked like some kind of vicious, cursed mage-weth. Not only her face, but her exposed arms and calves also had such scars. She looked exceptionally frightening. F***CK, you scared me. Where did this ugly girl come from? Scram. You smell dirty, get out of the way. Some of the surrounding sky prides revealed looks of disgust when they saw the ugly red-robed girl. The magic power in his body vibrated and shook the girl away. The young girl was sent flying, and in the end, she fell beside Fairy You Die. After all, there was only a small empty space beside her. It hurts. The young girl was wailing. The hideous centipede-like scars on her face and body were wriggling as if they were alive. Blurg. The young girl couldn't help but vomit, and some of the salted meat splashed on a Fairy You Die skirt. Dead silence. The surrounding sky prides were all stunned. The young girl actually vomited on Fairy You Die's skirt. Fairy You Die's expression froze for a moment before turning cold. In order to attract Jun Xiaoyao's attention, she deliberately dressed up exquisitely and elegantly. In the end, this dirty, ugly girl actually vomited on her. Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. The young girl curled up and endured the pain. Her voice was trembling. In a place as strict as the foreign realm, this was definitely an offense that courted death. Fairy You Die's magic power shook and removed the filth, but her expression became even colder. It was a loud bang. The young girl was sent flying and vomited blood. The surrounding sky prides acted as if they were watching a show. There was not even a hint of pity in their eyes. In their eyes, this kind of young girl beggar was even more lowly than slaves. Even crushing her to death would be too dirty. That ugly girl should be dead, right? Fairy You Die's cultivation base is a sage king. That girl is probably dead after her attack. Some gazes fell. However, to everyone's surprise, the red-robed girl's body trembled and struggled to get up from the ground. Her body was covered in blood, filth, and dust. She was filthy and in a sorry state. It was extremely disgusting. She's not dead? The group of people was astonished. Fairy You Die was a sage king. A casual shake of her magic power was enough to kill this young girl beggar millions of times. But she was still alive? Fairy You Die was also surprised. Her beautiful face was as cold as ice. A casual attack couldn't even kill a beggar. This was a blow to her reputation. Fairy You Die walked slightly closer to the red-robed girl and frowned. She covered her nose with her hand and said coldly, "You're still alive after taking a blow from me. Are you also here to be a follower?" Hongi wants to pay respects to that Lord Chaotic body. The girl named Su Hongi endured the pain and said weakly with blood flowing from the corner of her mouth. Although she was just a wandering child beggar, she had heard many people talk about Jun Xiaoyao. He swept through all the heavenly kings by himself. Even the young masters of the emperor race were afraid of him. Su Hongi yearned for that kind of peerless charm. Therefore, after learning that the heavens' chosen meeting had begun, she also wandered all the way here. As long as she could see Jun Xiaoyao from afar and admire his charm, she would be satisfied. What? Admire the chaotic body? Haha, I'm dying of laughter. A lowly beggar wants to admire the glory of a quasi-war god. That's right, it's ridiculous. Hearing this, the group of people burst into laughter. They looked at Su Hongi as if she was a clown. The corners of Fairy You Die's lips curled up slightly with a hint of cold mockery. The glory of Lord Chaotic Body is not something a lowly beggar like you has the right to admire. Only I have the right to follow the Chaotic Body and follow by his side. Fairy You Die stretched out her slender, jade-like fingers. Dermic power gathered between her fingers and directly pierced through Su Hongi's forehead. No one pitied her. No one pitied her. Even his gaze was cold and indifferent as if he was watching a show. This was the iron and blood law of the foreign realm, the survival of the fittest. Su Hongyi felt tired. Her entire body was tortured by pain. Perhaps dying like this wasn't a bad thing. However, whoosh! A ray of dermic power broke through the air and blocked Fairy Yudai's attack. Who is it? Fairy Yudai frowned. She swept her gaze over, and her beautiful face instantly froze. Her heart raced. In the distance, several figures stepped through the air. Tushan Wanwan, Tushan Chun, and Fei Qing Xue were all there. They were not here to recruit followers, but to follow Jun Xiaoyao to watch the show. In the lead was Jun Xiaoyao. His white robe was whiter than snow as he floated in the air. Immortal aura overflowed, otherworldly. There seemed to be mist flowing on his face, but one could still vaguely see his peerlessly handsome face. Chaotic light flowed in his eyes. It was incomparably deep, as if he could see through everything. He looked at the dirty red-clothed girl with a hint of surprise in his eyes. It's that strange feeling again. Could it be that she is also? Chapter 952. It was the first time that many of the prodigies in the square had seen Jun Xiaoyao. They all held their breaths at the same time. It was as if they had seen a true immortal appear and walk among the mortals. Greetings, quasi-god of war. Countless prodigies in the square cupped their fists at Jun Xiaoyao in unison. Their voices were monstrous. The god of war was the supreme glory that everyone in the younger generation of the foreign territory pursued. And the quasi-god of war was only one step away from that supreme glory. It could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao's reputation and status in the foreign territory were even higher than some of the princes and princesses. Not to mention that he had the unparalleled chaotic physique. Countless people wanted to curry favor with Jun Xiaoyao. Even a drop of Jun Xiaoyao's blood would be a priceless treasure. Yu Xiaoyao, when Li Jioi and the others saw Jun Xiaoyao's arrival, their faces were a little embarrassed. What made them even more annoyed was that Jun Xiaoyao acted as if he did not see them. He did not even look over. What did that mean? As far as Jun Xiaoyao was concerned, those who had lost to him were no longer worthy of his attention. Sir, I am from the Cursed Demon Clan and have the Cursed Spirit physique. I hope to become your follower. A man with runes all over his body bowed to Jun Xiaoyao with a nervous look on his face. Sir, I am from the Ghost Eye Royal Clan. I am willing to become your follower. Sir, I am from the Purple Feather Clan. My name is Zilin. As long as you take me in, I will not complain even if I become your servant. Sir, the surroundings suddenly became noisy. Countless prodigies scrambled to introduce themselves, hoping to gain Jun Xiaoyao's favor. Even if it was just following the chaotic physique, it would be a great opportunity. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly, raised his palm, and pressed it down. In an instant, the square was silent. Such an aura and ability to control the situation made Li Jioi frown deeply. Did Jun Xiaoyao already have such prestige among the younger generation? Even those princes and princesses only had such prestige. Amidst the silence of the crowd, Fairy Yudai twisted her delicate waist and stepped forward. Her beautiful face carried an enchanting and confident smile as she spoke in a gentle voice. My lord, I'm from the Quasi-Emperor clan, the Blue Moon clan. My name is Yudai. Because I admire your grace, I want to become your follower. I wonder if you can give Yudai this opportunity? Fairy Yudai said as she bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. When she bent down, her snow-white cleavage was particularly eye-catching. However, Fairy Yudai's expression froze. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze swept over her indifferently before landing on the dirty red-clothed girl at the side. The difference between these two women was like heaven and earth. Fairy Yudai's expression changed. She thought that Jun Xiaoyao was offended by this filthy young woman. She turned her head and coldly rebuked. Why aren't you scramming? Yudai doesn't want to fight in front of Milord. She's afraid of dirtying Milord's eyes. Su Hongyi endured the pain. Her eyes, which were covered by her messy hair, looked at Jun Xiaoyao. In her eyes was a figure like an immortal. It was too beautiful. It was so beautiful that Su Hongyi felt a little unreal. Su Hongyi, greet my lord. I will leave now. Su Hongyi kowtowed to Jun Xiaoyao and turned to leave. She hated herself and did not want to tarnish that peerless and aloof young master. Wait, a faint voice sounded. Su Hongyi was stunned. Fairy Yudai was stunned. All the sky prides were dumbfounded. Jun Xiaoyao walked in front of Su Hongyi and looked at her carefully. Then, he reached out his hand and lifted Su Hongyi's messy hair. Suddenly, a pair of blood-red eyes looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Those red eyes seemed to be condensed from blood, and there were small black runes in them. It looked strange and seductive. However, the girl's face was full of hideous and twisted scars that seemed to be wriggling like centipedes. It looked disgusting and nauseating. It somewhat destroyed this beautiful and strange feeling. My lord, don't look at me. I'm ugly. Su Hongyi was about to cry and wanted to cover her face with her hands. Fairy Yudai bit her lips and said, My lord, that girl is very dirty. Su Hongyi's body was dirty and messy. Filth, blood, and dust mixed together. It was disgusting to look at. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, looked extremely calm. Of course, he wasn't being merciful and pitying the beggar. Instead, it was because he had sensed a strange fluctuation. There's an extremely strong curse power in this girl's body. Her meridians are twisted and her bones are cracked. It is a miracle that she can live until now. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself, if the curse power in Su Hongyi's body was on Fairy Yudai, its strength was enough to kill Fairy Yudai directly. However, Su Hongyi had managed to survive and was still alive. Wasn't it obvious what this meant? Compared to Su Hongyi, Fairy Yudai was nothing. So what if she was a sage king? Jun Xiaoyao was rather interested in these special people with strange backgrounds. His previous followers, Yu, Yin Qingying, Wang Chuan, and Goddess Eternal Calamity. Which one of them did not have their own unique characteristics? Jun Xiaoyao's followers had never been mediocre people. Originally, Jun Xiaoyao had only come to participate in this chosen one gathering for Prince Nirvana and Xianyu. He had no intention of taking in any followers at all. But now, he had picked up a loophole and met someone who interested him. My lord. Su Hongyi's body trembled like a quail. She smelled the stench on her body and felt ashamed. She felt that staying by Jun Xiaoyao's side was a kind of stain to Jun Xiaoyao. What is your name? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Su Hongyi. Su Hongyi felt flattered. Her only wish before was to catch a glimpse of Jun Xiaoyao from afar. Who would have thought that she would be able to talk to Jun Xiaoyao? And Jun Xiaoyao even gently lifted her forehead hair and looked into her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao was not as cold and arrogant as Su Hongyi thought him to be. Su Hongyi, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. She was indeed like her name. She was dressed in red, but it was a little dirty and shabby. Then, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly pointed at Su Hongyi's forehead. A force was transmitted into Su Hongyi's body. He wanted to temporarily suppress the curse power in Su Hongyi's body. Su Hongyi felt a vast amount of energy enter her body. The pain receded like the tide. The hideous scars on her body also faded a little. Of course, they were still there. Thank you, my lord. Su Hongyi's red eyes trembled, and she was extremely grateful. Everyone looked at her with disdain. Everyone treated her as a dirty bug in the sewer. Except for Jun Xiaoyao. His status was so high that Su Hongyi did not even dare to think about it. He had helped her. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's figure was forever engraved in Su Hongyi's heart. The rarest thing was not icing on the cake, but providing timely help. My lord, she's just a wild girl with no background and is even lower than the slave race. How can she be taken care of by my lord? Fairy Yudai was a little confused. She was a genius of a quasi-emperor clan, but she was not as attractive as a lowly wild girl. Jun Xiaoyao ignored Fairy Yudai and looked at Su Hongyi and slowly pointed. A drop of chaos blood was forced out from his fingertip. I will give you two choices. First, accept this drop of blood and kill her. Then you can become my follower. Second, leave immediately. I will not let anyone find trouble with you. Chapter 953. Jun Xiaoyao's voice was very calm, but it was heard all over the square. At that instant, the geniuses on the square were dumbfounded, causing them to inhale deeply. Did Did I hear that right? Master Chaotic Flesh wants that girl to kill Fairy You Die? How is that possible? That drop of blood is the blood of chaos. Even if it's the blood of chaos, it's impossible. Can that girl take it? After a brief moment of deathly silence, an earth-shattering uproar erupted. Countless gazes landed on Jun Xiaoyao. To be precise, they were looking at the drop of blood on Jun Xiaoyao's finger. The blood of chaos. A drop of blood was enough to create a peerless genius. It was definitely not a lie. The geniuses present were even willing to fight to the death for a drop of blood. Goddess Yudai felt as if her mind had been struck by lightning when she heard what Jun Xiaoyao said. Jun Xiaoyao wanted that girl to kill her. Did he think she was too weak? Or was he testing her determination? Yudai sincerely wants to follow Master and is willing to devote herself to him. Yudai is not weak, and live a good life. Master will definitely be satisfied. Fairy Yudai's face was slightly pale. She no longer cared about her honor and wanted to follow Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not pay any attention to him and looked at Su Hongyi instead. "What's your choice?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. He had temporarily suppressed the curse power in Su Hongyi's body with the chaotic force. If he also gave her the drop of blood of chaos to repair her bones and veins, unlocking the potential in her body, it should be a pleasant surprise. Besides, this girl's background was a mystery, but she was still qualified to become Jun Xiaoyao's follower. Of course, it was fine if Su Hongyi was unwilling. Then, Jun Xiaoyao would also find out the secret behind her. However, he would not be so kind to her. Su Hongyi's heart was beating rapidly. Even her breathing seemed to have stopped. She knew that she might have come to the most important turning point in her life. Whether her fate would change or not depended on her choice. "Lowly girl, you better know your place." Fairy Yudai was a little embarrassed and angry. She found it hard to control her temper. What kind of status did she have? How could this lowly girl be more favored than her? Fairy Yudai couldn't figure it out. He could not figure it out at all. Redcoat is willing. Su Hongyi's crimson eyes that were like seas of blood flashed with a cold, killing intent. It was a monstrous hatred for his own tragic fate. Su Hongyi opened her mouth and stuck out her tongue, sucking Jun Xiaoyao's finger. It was sucking. It looked like a pet trying to please its master. The drop of chaos blood was sucked into Su Hongyi's body, and it began to spread. Unparalleled primal chaos energy was surging. If an ordinary person were to receive this power, they would definitely explode instantly. Even a Sage King would find it difficult to swallow and refine it directly. This drop of blood needed to be diluted and refined into a medicinal pill before it could be refined and consumed. But Su Hongyi was different. She was able to withstand such a strong curse. Not to mention this drop of chaos blood. Under everyone's horrified gazes, Su Hongyi's aura was rising steadily. Void God, Heavenly God, True God, Tao God, Sage to be Sage. Su Hongyi had directly become a sage. Countless geniuses were so shocked that their scalps went numb, and their eyeballs almost slipped out of their sockets. A moment ago, she was still a dirty and lowly girl beggar. The next moment, she became a sage. Even with the chaos blood, it was too ridiculous. Only Jun Xiaoyao knew. Su Hongyi had a powerful force hidden in her body, but it was suppressed by the curse. This drop of chaos blood had only drawn out a very small portion of its power. And it was this small portion of power that allowed Su Hongyi to directly break through to the sage stage. The chaos body's eyesight is too sharp. He can even see through this. But that girl is only at the sage stage now. It's impossible for her to defeat Fairy Yudai. Many people were surprised by Jun Xiaoyao's eyesight. Fairy Yudai was also extremely shocked. Her beautiful face began to contort. Resentment and jealousy surged in her beautiful eyes. It's all because of this bitch. If she hadn't appeared, Jun Xiaoyao would definitely have taken a fancy to her and made her his follower. Su Hongyi had taken away her achievements. "My lord, please wait a moment." Su Hongyi reluctantly let go of her mouth. When she turned to Fairy Yudai, her red eyes had been replaced by blood and coldness. Everything in this world was making her suffer. Only Jun Xiaoyao was willing to save her. Since she had promised Jun Xiaoyao and swallowed the chaos blood, she naturally had to kill Fairy Yu Dai. Dying, Su Hongyi attacked. Her aura erupted. Behind him, a very faint shadow appeared. It was very blurry, and it was impossible to see what it was. At this moment, her aura was like that of a red-clothed demon with a terrifying, murderous, and dark aura. At the same time that Su Hongyi's aura erupted, in the vast 10 provinces of the foreign realm, in the forbidden areas of some immortal emperors, some of the important figures exclaimed in surprise. That aura, could it be that person? As expected, he's awakened again. That person's obsession is simply too deep. The cycle of reincarnation never stops. Looks like a great change is about to happen in our realm. I wonder if that person will bring disaster or fate. Recently, the signs of the 6 kings of destruction awakening have appeared. Looks like a great change is about to happen in our realm. Perhaps an unprecedented king of darkness will appear, bringing an end to the celestial region. On the square, no one had expected Su Hongyi's aura to attract the attention of those important figures. They were all nervously watching the situation. Su Hongyi instinctively reached out her hand, and a flickering dark murderous light condensed in her palm. Dark sky slaughter. It only took an instant. Su Hongyi's red eyes shot out 3 feet of murderous light. She was like a red demonic flame that instantly swept past Fairy Yu Dai. The atmosphere froze. Time paused. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. No, I'm the pride of a boundary emperor race. How is this possible? Fairy Yu Dai's face turned pale in disbelief. A line of blood appeared on her swan-like neck. Then there was a puff. Her delicate body exploded, and so did her primordial spirit. A boundary emperor race's pride of a saint king had fallen. The whole place was silent, and only the sound of countless people swallowing their saliva could be heard. A saint had killed a saint king in one move. If it was someone from an emperor race, it would be acceptable. But now, it was a young beggar girl who had killed a boundary emperor race's pride. This was too unreal, like a dream. No one could recover from their shock. My lord, after killing Fairy Yu Dai in one move, Su Hongyi landed in front of Jun Xiaoyao. She was nervous, expectant, and a little nervous. She looked like a puppy wagging its tail, waiting for its owner to praise it. At this moment, she no longer had the aura of a demon queen like when she killed Fairy Yu Dai. Not bad, you can become my follower. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. This performance was passable. It could be considered a pass. If Su Hongyi had needed 2 moves to kill Fairy Yu Dai, Jun Xiaoyao would suspect that there was something wrong with his eyes. Thank you, young master. I, Su Hongyi, swear to the heavens that I will only belong to you in this life. Everything, my body, and even my soul, belongs to you, my lord. Su Hongyi directly knelt in front of Jun Xiaoyao and kowtowed heavily. It was Jun Xiaoyao who had given her a new life. Everyone despised her, and insulted her. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who extended his hand to her. This kindness would be engraved in Su Hongyi's heart forever. Jun Xiaoyao nodded in satisfaction. He knew that there was definitely a big secret behind Su Hongyi. He had only used a drop of chaos blood, and he had obtained a future peerless demon queen for free. Chapter 9:54. Jun Xiaoyao was very strict. Those who had the qualifications to become his followers naturally had something special about them that surpassed ordinary people. At this point, Jun Xiaoyao had a total of 5 followers. Yu, Yin Qingying, Wang Chuan, Goddess Eternal Calamity, and Su Hongyi. Looking at Su Hongyi, who was kneeling in front of him, Jun Xiaoyao said, "Get up." Yes. Su Hongyi got up. Although her body was still dirty and her red dress was tattered, the strange scars on her face and body had not completely disappeared. But her temperament was as cold as the wind, and the coldness that killed Fairy Yu Dai in seconds. This caused all the geniuses present to shut their mouths. They no longer dared to underestimate this filthy young lady. Sensing the fear in the eyes of the people around, Su Hongyi had mixed feelings. from being despised by everyone to being feared by everyone. Jun Xiaoyao had given her an unprecedented new life. Even if Jun Xiaoyao did not plant a slave mark on Su Hongyi, Su Hongyi would still be loyal to Jun Xiaoyao. The atmosphere was a little tense. After all, a quasi-emperor genius had died tragically on the spot. If it was anyone else, the Blue Moon clan would definitely not let them go. But if it was Jun Xiaoyao, the Blue Moon clan would definitely not make things difficult for Jun Xiaoyao just because of Fairy Yu Dai. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was no longer a loner at the moment. He had the ancient supreme of the academy behind him. At this moment, a light and leisurely voice sounded. TSK, 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 seeing is believing. Rumor has it that the chaotic physique is unparalleled. Now that I've seen it, it's indeed true. A quasi-emperor genius was killed with a casual order. Hearing this voice, everyone turned to look. He's here, Li Jiuming said. In the distance, a handsome young man in blue clothes and blue hair stepped on the air. Under his feet, blue hurricane lilies bloomed, turning into a bridge that extended over. The blue-clothed young man stepped on the blue Permitha bridge and walked over slowly with a calm bearing. It's the Nirvana Prince of the Blue Spider Lilies. Oh my God, this is the head of the 10 Heavenly Kings. The appearance of Prince Bin had undoubtedly stirred up a great commotion. Many people looked back and forth between Jun Xiaoyao and Prince Higan. Even though the two of them didn't have any conflict with each other before, they were still very close to each other. However, when Jun Xiaoyao was dealing with Li Jioi, he had said some derogatory words about the 10 Heavenly Kings. Don't let him think that the 10 Heavenly Kings are all weaklings. Of course, this included Prince Nirvana as well. And as everyone knew, Prince Nirvana had a perverse temperament. He was extremely arrogant and self-centered. Because they had the backing of the Nirvana Emperor clan, they were unbridled. His status was not much different from Li Jioi, a young master of an emperor clan. With Prince Bin's personality, it was obvious that he was unhappy. You are the leader of the 10 Heavenly Kings. Jun Xiaoyao also sized up Prince Higan. His aura was indeed not weak. Xiaoyao, chaotic jade body, 5 of the 10 Heavenly Kings have been defeated by you. This is really an eye-opener. Prince Bin's tone was playful. He was not a brainless little villain who was furious. He just narrowed his eyes slightly with a touch of judgment and a cold light. He was guessing how strong Jun Xiaoyao's real strength was. I don't think so. I am too strong. Jun Xiaoyao was also calm and leisurely. What he meant was that the 10 Heavenly Kings were too weak. Sigh, Brother Xiaoyao, you are too humble. You killed a supreme being as a quasi-supreme being and shocked the 10 prefectures. Prince Bin smiled. It felt like a smiling tiger. Listening to the conversation between the two, the hundreds of thousands of sky prides were paying attention. There was no fierce conflict. Instead, it felt like there was a knife hidden in a smile. It felt like a needle was pointed at an all. So, do you want to give it a try? Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. He wanted to use Prince Bin as a breakthrough point to find clues about the Bin clan. Today is the Chosen One pageant. I am mainly here to recruit followers, Prince Bin said with a smile. Hearing this, many people secretly felt that it was a pity. There would be no exciting battle. Many people also thought that Prince Bin was a little afraid of Jun Xiaoyao. After all, he was a chaotic jade body who had killed a supreme being. If it were those sleeping princes and princesses, they would probably be very cautious. Jun Xiaoyao narrowed his eyes slightly. He was waiting. In the following time, Prince Bin also selected a few followers. Their talent, strength, and background were not weak. They were not much worse than Fairy Yu Dai. Of course, they cannot be compared to Su Hongyi. Su Hongyi was buried in the sand, and Jun Xiaoyao had unearthed it. Many other sky prides also wanted to follow Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao ignored all of them and did not pick any more followers. After selecting his followers, Prince Bin glanced at them and said, "You should know what I hate the most, and that is betrayal. We will be loyal to you, my lord." These followers all cupped their hands and said, "Very well, but next, I will let you know what the consequences of betrayal are. It's not just you. Everyone here should know what the consequences of betraying a race and betraying our world are." As Prince Bayan's voice fell, there was a rumbling sound in the distant sky. 9 skeletal vultures pulled a prison cart over. In the prison cart, there was a girl whose clothes were stained with blood. The girl's figure was slender, and her pitch-black hair was like a waterfall. She wore a ghost mask on her face. Her limbs were thin and wrapped in blood-stained bandages. She looked very weak, as if she had been severely injured and tortured. Jun Xiaoyao glanced over. It was Xianyu. That person is, whispers could be heard in the square. She is a member of the Bayan organization under the command of the Bayan Emperor family. However, she betrayed her own race, betrayed our world. In the world of divine ruins, she stood up for the son of God of the Jun family of the immortal realm. The Bayan clan will not allow this kind of betrayal. Prince Bayan's voice spread between heaven and earth. He had already made up his mind to torture Xianyu to death in front of everyone after capturing her. Firstly, he wanted to create an image of himself as a loyal and righteous person. Secondly, he wanted to establish the prestige of the blue spider lilies. Hearing Prince Bayan's words, all the sky prides of the foreign realm came back to their senses. Their eyes were filled with disdain. Kill her. We will not tolerate anyone who betrays our realm. That's right. This kind of traitor must be executed. Many of the creatures of the foreign realm shouted. A traitor would not be welcomed anywhere. In the prison cart, under the ghost mask, Xianyu's face was very calm. She did not have the slightest regret. She did not even care that she was about to be executed. The only thing she cared about was whether or not Jun Xiaoyao had truly fallen. Are you really dead? Xianyu murmured. Chapter 955. Xianyu and Jun Xiaoyao were enemies. But when Jun Xiaoyao was in danger, Xianyu couldn't just stand by and watch. Maybe it was because she had made a mistake once. She killed her brother with her own hands. She didn't want to make the same mistake again. Even if Xianyu was despised by everyone, she didn't care at all. Because to her, other than the important people, everything else in the world was nothing. Xianyu, have you ever regretted it? Prince Bayan asked indifferently. Xianyu didn't say anything. Her heart had already died when she killed her brother with her own hands. But when she met Jun Xiaoyao, her dead heart started beating again. Then, Jun Xiaoyao's life was unknown. It was almost equivalent to death. Xianyu couldn't find a reason to live anymore. It seems that you don't repent. Today, I'll kill you in front of everyone, you traitor, Prince Bayan said indifferently. Sai, a pitiful girl, joined the organization because of a lie. She persevered until now, but in the end, she still died. In the void, a beautiful woman wearing a ghost mask appeared. She was the leader of the Bayan organization, Hualien. She was the one who persuaded Xianyu to join the Bayan organization. The reason was that she could help her brother find a way to reincarnate. But let's not talk about whether the Bayan Emperor could do it. Even if they could, the price they had to pay was obviously not small. How could the Bayan Emperor pay such a high price for Xianyu's dead brother? So, it was a lie from the beginning. Hualien just gave Xianyu a beautiful fantasy. The heavenly lady hasn't woken up yet. I wonder how she will view Xianyu, Hualien murmured. It was the heavenly lady of the Bayan Emperor clan, Mengnu, who guided her to find Xianyu. Perhaps Xianyu would be an important person. But now, the Bayan Emperor clan hadn't shown up yet, and Mengnu hadn't woken up yet. The blue flower of the Bayan Emperor clan was in charge. Prince Bayan said that he wanted to kill Xianyu, and Hualien was helpless. She didn't want Xianyu to die like this. There were chains attached to Xianyu's body as she was pulled out of the prison carriage. An executioner holding a bone-scraping knife revealed a cruel smile as he prepared to dismember Xianyu. None of the sky prides avoided the topic. There was even a hint of curiosity and excitement in the eyes of many people. Just as everyone was waiting with their eyes wide open to see Xianyu being executed, a calm voice suddenly appeared. Hold on. As his voice rang out, the world fell silent. Prince Bayan squinted his eyes and looked towards the source of the voice. Everyone revealed a trace of astonishment. As for Xianyu, her delicate body trembled when she heard this voice. The gaze under the ghost mask looked at the person who came. Dressed in white, he stood tall and straight, looking handsome and meaningful. It's him. Xian Yu's eyes were trembling. They were clearly very similar. However, that aura was completely different. Primal chaos energy pervaded the air, shrouding everything in mist. That aura did not belong to him. Mystic Moon was confused. She thought that she was hallucinating. Young Master Xiaoyao, is there anything I can help you with? Prince Bind said calmly. Xiaoyao. Xian Yu's eyes trembled silently. The others would not associate Xiaoyao with Jun Xiaoyao of the Mystic Realm just because of Xiaoyao. However, Xian Yu was someone who had fought with Jun Xiaoyao. She had even fallen into the immortal region with Jun Xiaoyao through the void abyss. Xian Yu's dead heart began to thump. She did not know why, but she was not willing to die like this. Of course, Xian Yu was also very smart. She remained silent and would not take the initiative to ask for help. This person is a little interesting. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Xian Yu and said, Oh, she's just a traitor. How could she catch the attention of the chaotic body? Prince Bind smiled. There was a hint of playfulness in his tone. Could it be that the chaotic body had taken a liking to Xian Yu's beauty? However, after thinking about it, Prince Bind secretly shook his head. Even someone like Fairy Yu Dai could be killed by Jun Xiaoyao without batting an eyelid. He was not a person who was greedy for beauty. She was a spy in the immortal region. I'm quite interested in all kinds of information about the immortal region. Jun Xiaoyao did not mind the playfulness in Prince Bian's tone and said calmly, Haha, really? Prince Bian's eyes were deep. Their gazes collided in the void. Each had their own thoughts. The hundreds of thousands of sky prides in the square were a little surprised. Why would the chaotic body save a traitor? Probably to gather information about the immortal region. I wonder if Prince Bian will give her face? Many discussions broke out. Hua Yin's gaze also fell on Jun Xiaoyao. A hint of surprise appeared in her eyes instinctively, and then she revealed a pondering look. Is this the chaotic body that has recently become famous in the 10 continents? He killed a supreme being and is not inferior to the fairy. If he can save Xian Yu, it will save us a lot of trouble, Hua Yin thought to herself. In fact, she and the entire Bian organization were directly under the fairy of the Bian, Meng Nuer. It was only because Meng Nuer was in hibernation that the blue flower of the Bian took the opportunity to seize control. Hua Yin was also not very fond of Prince Bian. How can I not agree to the chaotic body's request? After all, she is the quasi-god of war of the academy. But Prince Bian changed the topic and said, I'm not very satisfied with how you insulted the 10 heavenly kings. If you can apologize in front of everyone, I'll let you deal with Xian Yu. How about it? Prince Bian said with a smile. He wanted to execute Xian Yu in front of everyone just to establish his prestige. But now, if he could make the chaotic body apologize to him, wouldn't that be 1,000 times better than establishing his prestige? Prince Bian asked himself, and he did not think that the condition he proposed was too much. He did not want to force Jun Xiaoyao to kneel down, nor did he want to humiliate him. It was just an apology. To Jun Xiaoyao, it should not be a big deal, but it could increase his prestige. All the sky prides were waiting, although it was just an apology. But after all, it was in front of hundreds of thousands of sky prides. He misjudged this step. Li Jiuming frowned. He felt that Prince Bian had misjudged Jun Xiaoyao's character. Beside Jun Xiaoyao, Su Hongyi's red eyes flashed with scarlet murderous intent. If the emperor was sad, the minister would be humiliated. As Jun Xiaoyao's follower, Su Hongyi would naturally have murderous intent when Jun Xiaoyao was provoked. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and stopped Su Hongyi. Although she was not weak, she was not Prince Bian's opponent for the time being. Jun Xiaoyao looked up and glanced at Prince Bian. He suddenly smiled. Prince Bian, I think you have misunderstood something from the beginning, Jun Xiaoyao said. Oh, what? Prince Bian slowly narrowed his eyes. I never meant to ask for anything. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, he took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Prince Bian as if he was shuttling through the void. His speed was so fast that it was as if he was shuttling through the chaos. Then, smack! A loud slap was thrown at Prince Bian, sending him flying. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and his neck was almost broken. How dare you make conditions in front of me? Chapter 956. Dead silence. Absolute dead silence. Between heaven and earth, the loud sound of the slap was still reverberating. Prince Nirvana was sent flying by the slap. He landed heavily on the ground, creating a deep pit. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grabbed. The executioner who was about to execute Prince Nirvana was blasted into a bloody pulp by the chaotic pressure. The prison wagon was shattered. Xianyu was captured by Jun Xiaoyao. The whole place was silent. Everyone looked at Jun Xiaoyao as if they were looking at a supreme king. Powerful, domineering, swift and fierce. There was no doubt about it. Just like a monarch sitting high in the clouds. No one could go against his will. Even the leader of the 10 heavenly kings, Prince Nirvana, who had the Nirvana Emperor family behind him, was sent flying by Jun Xiaoyao with a slap. Although Jun Xiaoyao's sudden attack was one of the reasons. But it also showed that Jun Xiaoyao's strength was not just for show. You Xiaoyao, how dare you sneak attack me? Prince Nirvana got out of the deep pit. His face was distorted due to anger, and his eyes were shooting flames. All his disguises were destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao with a slap. Provocation? Hidden needles in his words? A smiling tiger? None of them mattered. A slap to wake you up. Simple and direct. Jun Xiaoyao was too lazy to fight with such a person, because he was not worthy. If it wasn't because Jun Xiaoyao wanted to use Prince Nirvana as a clue to search for the Nirvana Emperor family, Jun Xiaoyao would definitely slap Prince Nirvana to death. If I want something, it's mine. Remember that. Jun Xiaoyao said lightly and turned to leave. Prince Nirvana's eyes changed. He gritted his teeth and wanted to attack to regain his face. However, the attack that Jun Xiaoyao had just unleashed had made him extremely wary. Although Jun Xiaoyao attacked suddenly, Prince Nirvana could still feel the oppressive aura of a divine king. He was not an existence that could be easily dealt with. Chaotic body. Prince Bian clenched his fists tightly, but in the end he did not make a move. The leader of the 10 heavenly kings, Prince Nirvana, was terrified. Even he can't do it? It seems like we can only wait for those princes to appear before we can suppress him. Li Jiui sighed inwardly. Jun Xiaoyao's strength had already surpassed the prodigies of the 10 heavenly kings. Perhaps only monstrous geniuses like the 7 young emperors could deal with it. The Chosen One gathering was over. However, the events that transpired during this period of time caused people to relish in talking about them. As expected of the primal chaos body, with just a drop of blood and some enlightenment, even a beggar can become a saint. Not only that, he even slapped Prince Bian's face. TSK. With Prince Bian's personality, he must be furious right now. How powerful! Not only is there a mysterious undying behind the chaos body, there's also the Luo king backing him. No one dares to offend him. However, I've heard that the princes and princesses of certain monarch clans are very interested in the chaotic body. I'm looking forward to the sparring between the chaotic physique and the sovereign princes. All kinds of news were circulating in the outside world. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he had already returned to the Ares Academy with the girls. Mr. is so handsome and powerful, Tushan Chunshan said excitedly. Jun Xiaoyao simply fit the image of a fearless prince of destiny in her heart. I think only people like the 7 young emperors can be Mr.'s opponent. Tushan Wanwan's beautiful eyes also revealed a look of respect. After this period of sparring with Jun Xiaoyao, her strength had also skyrocketed. After that, Tushan Xiao, Tushan Chunshan, and Fei Qingxue retreated for the time being, knowing that Jun Xiaoyao still had things to do. Hongyi, you also leave first. Change your clothes and take a bath. I'll look for you later, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yes, Hongyi. Su Hongyi nodded. However, her heart skipped a beat. Did he want her to take a bath first? However, no matter what Jun Xiaoyao did to her, Su Hongyi would gladly accept it. It was Jun Xiaoyao who gave her a new life. Everything she had belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, only Jun Xiaoyao and Xianyu were left in the pavilion. Jun Xiaoyao waved one hand, and the chaotic mist surged and blocked the pavilion. At the same time, he performed the sky-stealing, sun-swapping technique, and even the karma of this place was isolated. He ensured that no information would be leaked. After doing all this, Jun Xiaoyao looked at Xianyu. She had suffered a lot and suffered serious injuries. Her delicate arms and long legs were covered with all kinds of scars. Obviously, after returning to the foreign land, Xianyu's life was not easy. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grabbed toward the void. The ghost mask on Xianyu's face was immediately taken off. An exceptionally delicate face was revealed. Although her face was as pale as snow, it was exquisite and stunning. There was a blood-tear mole at the corner of her eye, which made her already alluring face even more beautiful and moving. Although Xianyu had a guess in her heart, she still did not dare to be 100% sure. The chaotic mist on Jun Xiaoyao's face dissipated. A handsome face like that of a celestial being was revealed. Xianyu's heart suddenly twitched as if it was struck by lightning. It was indeed him. Although she had expected it, Xianyu's heart was still surging with shock. In the world of the divine ruins, Jun Xiaoyao's body and primordial spirit were even destroyed in that desperate situation. But now he was still alive. Not only that, his strength was beyond Xianyu's imagination. If it was before, Xianyu could still exchange a few blows with Jun Xiaoyao in the ancient road of ultimate. But now, Xianyu felt that as long as Jun Xiaoyao was willing, he could kill her in one move. This was not because Xianyu was weak, but because Jun Xiaoyao was too strong. It's been a long time. I didn't expect you to still be alive, Jun Xiaoyao said. His voice was calm, without any emotion. Xianyu fell into the void abyss with him, and he did not expect to fall into the foreign land together. It could only be said that it was fate. Xianyu still found it difficult to calm down. Looking at that familiar handsome face, her dead heart trembled. Don't look at me like that. I'm not your brother's substitute. Furthermore, there's a reason why I saved you. I won't change my opinion of you just because you took a blow for me. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was a little cold. I know, Xianyu said. She had never expected Jun Xiaoyao to change his opinion of her in the first place. After all, she had hurt someone Jun Xiaoyao cared about very much. Even if she risked her life to take a blow, it was only because of the obsession in her heart. Now that you have become a traitor of the Permitha organization, do you still insist on letting the Permitha clan revive your brother? Jun Xiaoyao said. Xianyu had taken the initiative to tell him her story in the world of the divine ruins. She was willing to join the Permitha organization because she wanted to find a way to reincarnate her brother. Hearing this, Xianyu suddenly smiled. That smile was a little sad, and there was a hint of self-mockery. Actually, I should have known long ago that I was just deceiving myself. My brother is already dead, and he is not a top expert who has the ability to reincarnate and live several lives. So, you have long given up hope? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. Maybe I just want to numb myself and find a reason to live. Xianyu's smile was sad, and it made one feel sorry for her. Chapter 9:57. Xianyu's life was very tragic. She even killed her only family member with her own hands. Although it was a misunderstanding, it was enough to make anyone break down mentally. And Xianyu chose to join the Nirvana organization for an illusory hope. She had been through a lot, especially after she met Jun Xiaoyao. Xianyu suddenly felt that she seemed to be trapped in an illusory obsession. She just wanted to find a reason to deceive herself. She looked at the face that resembled her brother, but was much more handsome. Xianyu even had an illusion. Perhaps it was her dead brother who arranged for her to meet Jun Xiaoyao in the first place. Her brother, on the other hand, had completely disappeared. Now that you know that it is a lie, there is no reason for you to live. Do you want to die? Jun Xiaoyao tilted his head slightly and looked at Xianyu. The only reason that supported Xianyu's survival was to revive her brother. But now this reason was also gone. Would Xianyu seek death? Xianyu was silent. Xianyu originally planned to do so. But now, after Jun Xiaoyao saved her, she suddenly didn't want to die. I didn't save you to let you die, Jun Xiaoyao said. Why? I hurt Jiang Xingyi and almost killed her. You should also want me to die, right? Xianyu couldn't help but ask. She didn't know why. There was a trace of jealousy in her words. Yes, your life is easily taken by me, but I want you to live. And you also need to tell me about the Nirvana Emperor family. You are one of the key clues that connect to the Nirvana Emperor family. Jun Xiaoyao didn't hide and directly told her the reason why he saved her. Is that so? Xian Yu's eyes were filled with bitterness. Maybe she didn't deserve to be loved and cared for. She could only be a cold and ruthless killer forever. Just as Xian Yu's eyes dimmed, Jun Xiaoyao added at the end of the sentence, "Of course, if you are obedient, I will protect you and let you stay by my side in the future." Xian Yu's gloomy and deathly still eyes suddenly brightened up. She raised her head slightly and looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who had a calm expression on his face. She thought about this aloof man who seemed to be aloof and distant. He did not seem to be as indifferent and emotionless as he appeared. Xian Yu seemed to have found a new reason to continue living. This time, it wasn't because Jun Xiaoyao resembled her brother. It was because of Jun Xiaoyao himself. Looking at Xian Yu, a glimmer of light flashed in her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao sighed inwardly. Sometimes controlling people's hearts was just that simple. Attacking the mind was the best strategy. Mystic Moon originally had a mortal body, but because it devoured the myriad Daos and refined the myriad Daos, it rose to power. In the future, Xian Yu's talent would be unpredictable. She wasn't any weaker than the mysterious Su Hongyi. Xian Yu, Su Hongyi. These two women would be Jun Xiaoyao's sharpest blades. Jun Xiaoyao said, "Your injuries are quite serious. You should stay in the academy to recuperate first. I'll look for you when I need you later." Thank you." Xian Yu seemed to have never said thank you before. She seemed a little awkward. "By the way, this is for you." Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his finger, and a drop of chaos essence blood appeared. This? Xian Yu was a little surprised. Jun Xiaoyao had given her a drop of chaos essence blood. Xian Yu had always walked the path of refining the myriad of bloodline talents. This drop of chaos essence blood was invaluable to her. Although she didn't know how Jun Xiaoyao had changed from the sacred body of the ancients to the body of chaos. But obviously, Jun Xiaoyao's gift was too valuable. Not only did he save her life, but he also gave her the chaos essence blood. Xian Yu owed Jun Xiaoyao a huge favor. This I will remember. Xian Yu accepted the chaos essence blood. Her gaze was very complicated, and then she left. Looking at Xian Yu's back as she left, Jun Xiaoyao smiled. "There's no free lunch in the world. Since you accepted my gift, you'll have to pay me back double." Jun Xiaoyao was never one to make a losing deal. The war at the border was about to start, so Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't go to the Nirvana Emperor clan for the time being. After he returned from the border and Xian Yu's injuries had healed, he could go to the Nirvana Emperor clan to investigate. Then, Jun Xiaoyao's divine consciousness moved. Outside the door, Su Hongyi walked in and bowed respectfully to Jun Xiaoyao. Su Hongyi had already taken a bath and washed away the dirt. She had changed into a new red dress. Her forehead hair was still very long, and it slightly covered her strange blood-red eyes. She had a fair and pretty face. Although it wasn't the extreme kind of beauty, she was like a neighborhood girl. However, she was just like the girl next door, very beautiful and exquisite. However, the twisted and hideous scars that resembled centipedes destroyed this beauty. "Master!" Su Hongyi was very respectful. She even used her small hands to tug at her wrinkled red dress. When she killed Fairy Udai, she was like a cold-blooded, red-clothed demon queen. But in front of Jun Xiaoyao, she was like a nervous girl next door. Jun Xiaoyao smiled and said, "Don't be nervous. Since you become my follower, you're one of my people. No one will dare to hurt you in the future." Su Hongyi said weakly, "Yes, I'll always be one of your people, as long as you don't mind. You're a follower that I've personally taken in. Why would I despise you?" Jun Xiaoyao found it funny. Su Hongyi lowered her head slightly and said, "After all, there are great beauties around you. I'm ugly." Su Hongyi's voice became weaker and weaker. Indeed, Tushan Xiao Xiao, Tushan Chun Chun, and Luo Xiangling were all great beauties around Jun Xiaoyao. Even Fei Qingxue, who had a lower status, was beautiful. Su Hongyi was the only exception. Although she had a good foundation, she was a beauty in the making. but the scars ruined her appearance. Su Hongyi was already used to it. However, she couldn't help but feel a sense of inferiority when she was with a man like Jun Xiaoyao. Hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao said, "By the way, I still don't know your background. Maybe I can think of a way." Really? Su Hongyi's body trembled, and she couldn't help but blurt out. Then, her face turned red, and she realized that she had lost her composure. Following this, Su Hongyi told Qin Nin everything that had happened without holding anything back. Su Hongyi had no parents since she was young, and no one knew where she came from. She was raised by a couple from slave clan. After that, this slave race was exterminated. Su Hongyi was lucky enough to escape with her life. After that, he began to wander around all by himself. Logically speaking, a girl like Su Hongyi would have a hard time surviving in a place like the Outer Realm. However, she still had to thank the scars on her body, which made everyone stay away from her and treat her as an ugly person who had been tainted with bad luck. I see. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. It seemed that Su Hongyi didn't know her background. In this way, there was only one way for Jun Xiaoyao to confirm his thoughts. "Hongyi, take off your clothes."